Is this the true strength of fellow Taoist Su? Although Sima Yao was in the Pill Emperor Pagoda, he also saw the vision of heaven and earth caused by Su Han's refining of the 8th grade elixir. It's just that the distance is too far, and he doesn't know exactly what happened. Such a shocking scene, even Hong Dao couldn't help being surprised. You must know that the reason why the elixir of the 8th rank and above is very powerful is because of the powerful power contained in the vision of heaven and earth it attracts. This power will greatly enhance its medicinal effect. Therefore, the more terrifying the heaven and earth vision attracted, the more powerful the medicine it refines, the higher the grade. Generally speaking, if it can attract a piece of pill cloud, it means that the pill has reached the 8th rank middle grade, and both of them are the 8th rank top grade. If you reach the 3rd level, that is the 9th level. And what Su Han attracted at this time was a total of 5 pill clouds. This also means that the elixir refined by Su Han has reached the terrifying 9th grade top grade. At this moment, even Wu Hongdao's eyes towards Su Han changed slightly. You know, even as the Tower Master of the Pill Emperor Pagoda, Wu Dao's alchemy level has reached the 7th level alchemist. But the highest grade of pills he can refine is only the 9th grade middle grade. And a young man in front of him who looks less than 200 years old can refine a 9th grade high grade pill. Immediately, discussions arose in the entire alchemy room. But Su Han didn't pay attention to these, and still just put all his attention on alchemy. Su Han didn't even realize what happened around him. As time passed, the color of the pill cloud above Su Han's head became more and more muddy. At this moment, Lin Yan no longer has any interest in the pills of the 8th or 9th rank, and the smile on his face gradually froze. As strong people who have stepped into the human supreme, they have also come into contact with powerful power a lot, so they naturally know how terrifying the power of the law is. Although it seems that these dark clouds are not too aggressive now, the thunder that fell from them should not be underestimated. Maybe it's nothing to look at it like this, but you must know that when the realm breaks through, it will also attract thunder. This sky thunder is the reason why many people fail to break through. The same is true for the thunder caused by alchemy, which is extremely powerful. Still, that isn't why they're worried. What worries them the most is, although Su Han is already a 6th grade pharmacist, his cultivation is only at the 5th level of Shattering Void. A cultivator who has not even reached the Shattered Realm faces these 5 pill clouds alone, and the chance of being able to survive them is very small, almost zero. It doesn't matter whether you win or not in this alchemy conference. The most important thing is Su Han's safety. If the price of winning the leader is Su Han's safety, then it is better to give up everything in front of you. However, the pill cloud generated during alchemy cannot be easily cancelled. Only Dan Cheng or Dan Rui can stop it. This is what Lin Yi is most worried about. There is a 90% probability that Su Han will fall here. Of course Wu Hongdao, who was watching from the side, knew this too, but unlike the mocking tone before, he spoke slowly at this moment. It's a pity that such a good seedling, if this son can survive today, my Pill Emperor Pagoda will no longer rob people from your Yao Yanzong. He let out a long sigh, and his eyes were obviously a little melancholy. That's right, such a young man who is only less than 200 years old can surpass the old guys like them and refine the 9th grade high-quality elixir. Is this the dream of many alchemists? It is also a dream that many alchemists cannot achieve in their lifetime. But now, such a genius is about to fall here, how can it not make people feel sad? It's a pity that good fortune tricks people. God gave him the talent to refine 9 rank pills, but he didn't give him such a real 5. Sad, lamentable. At this moment, the two sects did not have any disputes, only regret and sympathy for the impending fall of the genius. The disciples below were also stunned when they saw this scene. Is the Danyan attracted by Elder Su a bit too big? Since Chu Yihua detected the talent of alchemist, although he has no plan to join the Pill Emperor Pagoda, he has read a lot of books about alchemy in private. Therefore, he also understood some knowledge about alchemy. Seeing this scene at this moment, a trace of uneasiness emerged in his heart, and he looked at where Elder Su was with some worry. With such a large-scale Danyan, I am afraid that the attack power of Tinlei is also very strong. Can Elder Su really hold on? Although Liang Yeshui doesn't know about alchemists, she is also a monk, so she knows the power of Sky Thunder after all. At this moment, she is also a little hesitant, not to mention that Elder Su's current cultivation base is only at the 5th level of Shattering Void. Even if Liang Yeshui has reached the consummation of Shattering the Void, she can't guarantee that she will be able to catch the 5 thunders. Elder Su is in danger, should we go directly to save him? Seeing this scene, Chu Tianrui stood up directly, wanting to rush forward. But he was stopped by Chu Yihua. Going up and interfering with Elder Su will only make the thunder in Danyan come down immediately. Chu Yahua told all the things that he had read in ancient books recently. Now, even Chu Tianrui, who is usually very secretive, has calmed down. After a long time, he spoke again. Could it be that we just watch Elder Su take down these 5 thunderbolts? Chu Tianrui looked at Su Han, who was making alchemy in front, with some reluctance. Although he didn't meet Elder Su very much, he still has a good impression of Elder Su. The Yaoyan sect has always circulated various deeds of Elder Su. As long as people who know Su Han have only one evaluation of him, good. Even Danwang Pagoda, which has just been here for less than a month, now has a lot of news about Elder Su helping his disciples break through. There are so many people watching the alchemy conference this time, which is the best proof. Now such a respected and amiable strong man is going to fall like this? This is unacceptable to him. I can only trust Elder Su. Chu Yahua let out a long sigh, and said rather helplessly. The eyes of the entire alchemy room were all focused on this place, and the disciples all held their breath, for fear that the slight fluctuation brought by breathing would affect Su Han. There was no sound in the whole alchemy room, it was surprisingly quiet. All Su Han's attention was on alchemy, and he didn't care about the changes in the surrounding atmosphere. In this alchemy conference, 2 7th-rank pharmacists did not participate, so Su Han only planned to refine an ordinary 8th-rank elixir. However, since it was the first time for Su Han to take the initiative to refine the 8th-grade elixir, all the details were controlled extremely meticulously. Because it was the first time to seriously refine an 8th-grade elixir, Su Han grasped every little detail extremely accurately. It is precisely because of this that the quality of the elixir has already undergone a qualitative leap. Su Han has also noticed that the quality of this elixir is pretty good, but to what extent it has not yet formed elixir, Su Han can't be sure. Boom. A thunderbolt fell, and there was a puff of smoke around him. Su Han subconsciously waved his hand, but nothing happened in his perspective. Ever since he acquired this god-level alchemy technique, Su Han subconsciously dodged the heaven and earth phenomenon caused by alchemy, as if he had already expected it. The elixir had begun to take shape, and Su Han also breathed a sigh of relief, feeling how the people around him were progressing. Perhaps he spent too much time in the step of forming the alchemy, and the progress of several other people is about to produce alchemy. Only now did he notice that such a thick cloud of pills had already gathered above his head. However, Su Han didn't panic at all, and just continued to refine the elixir. The thunder from these pill clouds may indeed be quite powerful, but that's only for those who are not at a high level. There are also many types of sky thunder. There are sky thunders when breaking through, there are sky thunders when crossing the catastrophe, and there is also the sky thunder formed by the pill cloud in front of you. The formation of Tinlay is actually to condense the aura of the surrounding world into a small place and release it quickly. According to the amount of heaven and earth spiritual energy it absorbs, the power of the sky thunder is also different. The most powerful sky thunder produced when crossing the catastrophe absorbs a huge amount of heaven and earth aura, and sometimes it can even affect the entire world. And the sky thunder formed by Dan Yun is considered the weakest among all the sky thunders, because it only gathered the aura of heaven and earth in a small area around it. Its formidable power is equivalent to the strongest blow of the heaven-rank Kung Fu. But now that Su Han's cultivation base has reached the 7th level of human sovereignty, how could he be afraid of the sky thunder formed by this pill cloud? Not to mention that Su Han still has body protection skills, even relying on the strength of his physical body alone, it is more than enough to block the thunder from this little Danyan. At this time, Su Han didn't pay attention to these things, and was just doing the final finishing work of the elixir. When the smoke dissipated slowly, everyone breathed a sigh of relief when they saw Su Han, who was still refining alchemy and was safe and sound. Very good. Elder Su survived the second thunderstorm. And it looks pretty good. Elder Su will definitely make it through. Seeing this scene, Liang Yeshui showed a smile on her gloomy face just now. What's the use of carrying the second thunder? The remaining ones will only become more violent. Wu Hongdao seemed to have anticipated what would happen later. He sighed slowly and closed his eyes. Although I didn't like Su Han before, it was also because Su Han didn't want to join the Pill Emperor Pagoda. But now, in his eyes, Su Han is already a dying person, and he doesn't hate him too much. Boom. The sky thunders fell one after another. This time Su Han did not dodge, but resisted with his body. When the thick smoke dissipated, the dark clouds gathered above Su Han's head also gradually dissipated. Su Han still stood on the spot, without a single scar on his body. Not even a speck of velvet dust from the thick smoke rolled up by the thunder. And the alchemy furnace in front of Su Han is still in operation, and there is the shadow of this elixir in the middle. He actually carried the thunder from the sky? Wu Hongdao slowly opened his eyes, but he didn't see Su Han fell to the ground, but he was still standing there, and was stunned. How could a cultivator at the Shattering Void realm be able to resist the five thunders? Could it be that Su Han, in addition to the extremely powerful technique of alchemy, also specially practiced the technique of body training? Body training is a very common skill. Even if it is cultivated to the extreme, its effect is only one, to strengthen the body. Moreover, the body forging technique is different from other exercises, and it will not increase the cultivation base because of mastering more. Although there are also records that some people have practiced the body training technique extremely powerfully, reaching the terrifying level of physical sanctification, but the process is too hellish, so most monks will not choose this kind of exercise. Even Wu Hongdao had only seen it in ancient books. However, now only this is the only explanation that makes sense. Otherwise, could it be that Su Han's realm has reached an extremely powerful level, and he has been hiding Shu Bing before? Just thinking about it made it impossible. Wu Hongdao immediately denied this idea. After all, to be able to forcibly withstand the realm of the five thunders, one must at least reach the supreme realm, right? If Su Han had this level, Huang Wuxi had been mocking him all the time, how could he not have any reaction? It seems that I have to throw an olive branch later. The alchemy talent is not bad, and the body is supported by a powerful body training technique. Even if you can't make alchemy for the sect, if you pull him into the sect, it's only the 7th rank pharmacist. The name is nice too. It's a big deal and the conditions are more generous. At this moment, Wu Hongdao's thoughts became more and more clear. Good job. Seeing Su Han standing there safe and sound, Qin Yiwang didn't stick to those red tape anymore, and shouted out directly. At this moment, Lin Yan and Qin Yiwang were happy from the bottom of their hearts, not because Su Han had refined the 9th grade elixir, but because Su Han was safe and sound. That's enough. If it weren't for the fact that the alchemy conference hadn't ended yet, Qin Yiwang would have rushed down to give Su Han a full body checkup. Resisting the 5 Dao Pill Thunder with the cultivation base of breaking the void, this deed is enough to show off even if it is said. Sima Yao's originally heavy heart relaxed after seeing that Su Han was safe and sound, but he didn't make any movements at the moment, just watched quietly. Could it be? Seeing this scene, Huang Wuxi was also a little surprised. One must know that the 5 thunderbolts just now meant a 9th grade elixir. If it is really made by Su Han, let alone this alchemy conference, even in the entire Pill Emperor Pagoda, there is probably no one who can fight against it. Not even the Pagoda Master of Pill Emperor Pagoda. As a small 6th grade pharmacist, he is naturally not his opponent. But what surprised him even more was that Su Han was able to resist these 5 thunders. His physical strength has already reached a terrifying level, it is far beyond his reach. This time the alchemy conference, he was completely defeated, the defeat was complete. Thinking of what he said before the alchemy conference started, Huang Wuxi felt a burning pain on his face. He looked at the 8th grade elixir he had just refined in his hand, and slowly lowered his head. Huang Wuxi looked at the 8th grade elixir in his hand, and felt pain on his face at this moment. Earlier, he was bragging in front of others, and even mentioned the name of the first pill under the 9th rank. He originally thought that it was impossible for such a 6th rank alchemist to cultivate a 9th rank alchemist. Even if he trained in 8th rank alchemy, it would be difficult. But, who knew, Su Han directly used a big move for him, and even used his own body to forcibly carry the 5 thunderbolts, and refine the 5th grade elixir. At this moment, everyone stared dumbfounded at Su Han's elixir furnace, which was exuding a terrifying pressure, and there was even a faint golden elixir, and they all took a breath at this moment. Wu Hongdao, the tower master of Nadanwang Pagoda, was also thinking about what kind of bargaining chip he should use later to win him over. The expressions of the people below were different, and the disciples of Yao Yanzong were naturally overjoyed at this time. They did not expect Elder Su to hold back a big move. Just when the people below had different thoughts, a sudden change happened at this time. I only saw the alone in front of me, and at this moment began to shake violently. A powerful breath seemed to rush out of the alchemy furnace. Wu Hongdao, who was very experienced in alchemy, had already anticipated that something was wrong. As the tower owner of Danwang Pagoda, he naturally knows something about this situation now. At this time Sima Yao saw that the alone was shaking violently, and there seemed to be some signs of shattering. At this time, his face changed drastically, and he quickly said, "No, Elder Su. Get back quickly, this pill furnace is about to explode." As soon as these words came out, the disciples of the Yaoyan sect who had been happy just now changed their expressions drastically, and they all wanted to step forward and pull Su Han down. However, it seemed a little late at this time, only to see that the alchemy furnace could no longer bear the breath of the 9th grade elixir, and it actually exploded directly. A powerful breath suddenly bloomed, mixed with the fragrance of medicinal pills, and this destructive energy began to pour endlessly towards the surroundings. At this time, Lin Yan, who is the suzerain of Yaoyan sect, and Wu Zhengdao, who is the master of Danwang Pagoda, went out immediately. As soon as he raised his hand, a barrier suddenly enveloped everyone below. However, the explosion power of this 9th grade elixir was very strong. Everyone in the barrier could only hear a violent collision. Going up, where the smoke was filled, they only saw the two people standing in front of them. Lin Yan, the suzerain of Yaoyan sect, is powerful, and the shock just now only made his mouth tingle. But Wu Hongdao, who was a little weaker and had a very fragile physique, was indeed in a bit of a miserable state at this time, only to see him spitting blood from the mouth of this powerful impact. The elders nearby hurried over to help him after seeing it, and threw a lot of pills into his mouth to stabilize his injury. At this time, Wu Hongdao, who was stabilizing his injuries, looked at the ruins in front of him, and his expression became a little regretful. Then he became very arrogant again, and then said slowly, "Sure enough, young people still have to keep their feet on the ground, and alchemy should not be rushed and needs to be 10 steps forward. This time will surely teach you a lesson. After all, alchemy is an extremely profound knowledge. It is impossible to reach the sky in 1 step. I thought that this 9th grade elixir would be released soon, but I didn't expect it to be nothing. That's right, I thought it was going to be a huge battle. Seeing the big commotion in front of you, I didn't expect to practice a useless pill. If you do it like this, I can do it instead of me." Huang Wuxi at this time, the expression on his face returned to his previous self-confidence. The look of the one who was beaten just now without daring to say a word is completely gone, and now he is so arrogant to ask for more cards, because Su Han has practiced a useless pill, which exploded when he was refining pills. This also shows that he has basically been eliminated in this alchemy competition. And he has refined a veritable 8th grade elixir, although it did not attract the vision of heaven and earth. But now he is the well-deserved winner, so what if Su Han made a big noise before his death? Even if that 9th grade elixir is about to be formed, it will shock the world, so what? As long as it is not fully refined, it is nothing, it is a big dream. Okay, Tower Master, I thought this Elder Su could make us look different this time, but I didn't expect that he was just a bluffing guy. I thought he could really break our cognition and refine this product. Here comes the elixir. Since that's the case, we've won this bet. Ha 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 ha. This Elder Su may have been seriously injured this time, and more importantly, don't let his heart be damaged. At this time, Huang Wuxi had reached the peak of his life. The feeling of ups and downs made him very excited. He thought that he had become a joke in this alchemy meeting, but he didn't expect that there would be a turning point, which made him reach the pinnacle of life again. At this time, Lin Yan, the patriarch of Yaoyan sect, had a very worried expression on his face. Even the disciples below, Liang Yeshui, Chu Yihua, and Chu Tianrui, were also very worried, and they wanted to rush up to see how Elder Su was doing. Up. But at this time, Lin Yan stopped them and said, "Don't go up first. The potency of the 9th grade pill and the aftermath of its explosion have not yet evaporated, and if you go up now, you will only increase casualties. Yu Wei is injured. Sovereign Lord, what should we do then? After all, Elder Su is still inside, so if his life or death is uncertain, can he just watch from below?" Liang Yeshui had no expression at this time, and was very worried. He wished to rush in immediately, but her rationality made her calm down now, because if she rushed into it might only cause trouble for Su Han. The people on Yaoyanzong's side all looked very worried. They were waiting here anxiously, waiting for someone to come in and out of the group in front of them. After a stick of incense, I saw that there was still no movement in the dark room, and the expressions on their faces became more and more gloomy. After all, such a person who can make alchemy and has a sense of belonging to the Yaoyan sect unexpectedly will suffer this catastrophe at this alchemy conference. If he had known this earlier, he should have tried his best to prevent Su Han from participating in the alchemy conference. Another stick of incense passed by, and seeing that there was no movement in front of them, everyone in the Danwang Pagoda had a smirk on their faces, especially Huang Wuxi, who was very happy. Huang Wuxi clicked his tongue and said, "It's a pity. It seems that Elder Su's life or death is uncertain this time. After all, this is a 9th grade elixir, and the power generated by the explosion of the 9th grade elixir is very powerful, equivalent to a fugue. It's a desperate blow from someone in the realm. It seems that Elder Su is still too impatient. If he can be safer, maybe it won't lead to the current catastrophe." Huang Wuxi's words undoubtedly made the situation worse, making all the disciples under Yao Yanzong clench their fists, and some people couldn't help it at this time. They only saw a sudden violent whirlwind of spiritual power blowing past, rushing directly towards Huang Wuxi in front of them. Everyone realized at this time that it was Liang Yeshui who had just shot. At this time, Liang Yeshui seemed to have lost control, and coupled with Huang Wuxia's provocative language, she couldn't bear it anymore. Her only purpose now was to let Huang Wuxi go to Su. The elders were buried with him. The people in the Danwang Pagoda saw the whirlwind of spiritual power coming towards them, and the expressions on their faces became very ugly at this time. Wu Hengdao immediately blocked it with moves, but he didn't expect the whirlwind to be so violent that he almost got involved in it. He only raised his realm by taking drugs, so compared with those in Yaoyang, although his strength is incomparable, he still has the strength of the supreme realm. He just stared at Liang Yeshui in front of him with a gloomy expression, and said coldly, "Hehe. Why do you want to start a war with our Danwang Pagoda now?" Speaking of which, Wu Hongdao summoned his own alchemy furnace, and threw it directly at Liang Yeshui in front of him. Wu Hongdao was also very despicable. He had pretended not to fight back, but at this moment, he immediately made a move, intending to kill Liang Yeshui in front of him. This speed was so fast that even Lin Yan had a hard time reacting. He wanted to take action immediately, but the actual reaction was a little slow. He was still immersed in the grief just now, immersed in the pain of Su Han's life and death. At this time, the pill furnace that blocked the attack suddenly came, and then everyone only saw that the pill furnace was directly shattered into pieces after being touched by the spiritual energy. "Then why are you in such a hurry? Master Wu Tower. You dare to attack our Yaoyan sect members before I'm dead? Does that mean you don't take me seriously?" A familiar voice came out at this time. The smoke in front of him gradually dissipated. Su Han patted the black fog in front of him and walked out slowly. When everyone saw Su Han walking out, their faces showed a hint of surprise. They didn't expect that the power of the 9th grade elixir explosion furnace would not hurt Su Han. He didn't even see the slightest bit of embarrassment on his body. His clothes were still so neat, and his expression was still so calm. It seemed that the friar had no effect on him at all. Seeing this, Huang Wuxia's face immediately became very gloomy. He said in his heart, "Whatever you pretend, you have already reached this point, and you are still here to force me to be calm, and see how I will expose you, old man, and make you feel ashamed here." As he said that, Huang Wuxi said with malicious intentions, "Elder Su, what's going on? Why are you so careless? This 9th grade elixir is about to be practiced. Why did you accidentally blow it up? Is the furnace on? You must know that this is the birth of the first 9th grade high-grade pill that I have seen since alchemy. It's just a pity. It's a pity that you, Elder Su, are still too young. However, if you were willing to stay in my Pill Emperor Pagoda for a few years and learn the alchemy techniques of my Pill Emperor Pagoda, maybe you will be able to make up for your shortcomings and become the 9th grade pill by then. After all, there is no one in Yaoyan sect who can teach you alchemy, right? HMPH, Su Han, you Yaoyan sect seems to be a little too unruly, and you dare to attack us openly. Does it mean that he still doesn't take me seriously? You must know that this alchemy conference is led by our Pill Emperor Pagoda. Are you breaking the rules by doing this? Besides, you also lost this time. Not only did you lose in terms of strength, but your character was also so corrupted." After Huang Wuxi saw Su Han coming out, his expression was a little different, so he stood up immediately. With a condescending, very jealous tone, he accused Su Han in front of him. "Elder Huang, I saw everything you did just now. What did you say? I heard everything clearly." Su Han showed a smile on his face at this time. Huang Wuxia's words just now had completely angered him, and he seemed to have no need to keep him in this world. "Ha ha ha ha, Elder Su, isn't the old man right? Didn't you fail? You must know that this alchemy friar is a big deal. You just caused a commotion, but you almost let our disciples of the alchemy pagoda, were all damaged. Besides, our tower master just spent a lot of effort to block the aftermath of the explosion of this 9th grade pill. Is it wrong for us to say a few words of complaint? That you, Elder Su, you disciples of the Pill Emperor Pagoda are really loyal, and you will come up to kill the old man just by saying a few words. Is it possible that your Yaoyan sect is so overbearing?" Huang Wuxia's words directly scolded the dazzling people in front of them, and portrayed it as a righteous party, blaming them. At this time, Su Han waved his hand directly, and Huang Wuxi in front of him felt a pressure. A big slap in the void directly hit his face. After being pumped, he spun a few times in the air before he managed to stabilize himself. Lin Yi was slightly startled. He didn't expect Su Han to do such a thing on such an occasion, but Lin Yi wasn't angry at all, he just deserved it. As for the Pill Emperor Pagoda, Yao Yanzong is not a vegetarian. Lin Yi just watched the joke from the side. Ask him to stand still behind him. Everyone saw a huge slap mark on his face, and couldn't help laughing out loud at this moment. Especially Chu Tianrui laughed very loudly at this time. Said. Peefed ha 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 ha, everyone, look, our elder Huang has a 5-finger mountain growing on his face, this is really funny." These words also made those disciples of Yao Yanzong laugh for a while, even their disciples of Pill Emperor Pagoda. Some people couldn't help laughing at this time. Talkie. Su Han couldn't stand this guy's talkative character anymore, and after slapping him, he finally calmed down a lot. But Huang Wuxi in front of him stood up. His eyes were bloodshot. He didn't expect that Su Han would dare to make such a move in front of the crowd, making himself completely lost in front of these younger disciples and some elders' face. Feeling the burning pain on the right side of his face, he was very angry at this moment, and he already clenched his fists. "You damn guy, you dare to humiliate this old man." Before Huang Wuxi finished speaking, he saw another strong wind coming from the sky, and then his whole body was blown away, spinning a few times in the air. After recovering from their senses, everyone only saw a slap on his face. Su Han looked at Huang Wuxi's current appearance, and the expression on his face became smoother. "Now it looks much more pleasing to the eye. I just had a slap on my face, and one side was swollen. It always feels weird. Now I slap again, and it's symmetrical now. It really makes people feel inexplicably smoother," Su Han said contentedly at this time. After hearing this sentence, the disciples under Yao Yanzong burst out laughing, and even the disciples who came to watch from the Pill Emperor Pagoda also burst out laughing. "Elder Su, you insulted the elders of my Pill Emperor Pagoda so much, shouldn't you give an explanation? After all, this is a person from my Pill Emperor Pagoda. Even if you want to take care of it, I should discipline it. Your behavior is undoubtedly that I put my Pill Emperor Tower in my eyes." Wu Hongdao kept standing up at this time. After all, he was from the Pill Emperor Pagoda. Although he was drawn out of shape now, this appearance even made him feel a little funny, but this was a big deal, and the beating was a big deal. The face of my own Pill Emperor Pagoda. Why hit him? Because this guy is talking nonsense. When will it be judged that I have failed in alchemy? Su Han said to Wu Hongdao in front of him with a mocking arc on his face. After hearing this sentence, Wu Hongdao first showed a look of astonishment on his face, and then showed a hint of ridicule, and said, "Thousands of eyes are watching here, and your alchemy furnace has exploded. Can it still become a pill? Elder Su, you really don't think I'm a fool, do you?" He felt that Su Han was still bluffing. After all, there was such a situation in the alchemy furnace. How could it be judged as a success? Then how could it be possible to practice a successful elixir? He felt that Su Han in front of him was just a fat man with a swollen face. It just so happened that he could take advantage of this opportunity to gain some face from Su Han. Suppress him well. At this time, Huang Wuxi also stood up, facing his completely swollen face, and said very angrily at this time, "Woohoo, Shu Hang's debts are in full swing." It's good that he didn't speak, but when he spoke, these Yao Yanzong disciples couldn't help it, especially Chu Tianrui. He just fell to the ground holding his stomach and laughing. "Ha ha ha ha. This guy really made me laugh so hard. He was beaten for a while. Why does he feel like he's turned into a donkey?" This sentence can be said to have brought the atmosphere of the scene to a climax, and even the disciples at the Pill Emperor Pagoda had already covered their stomachs and laughed out loud. "Okay. I don't have time to mess around with you here. Since you want to see it, I'll show it to you now." At this time, Su Han picked up a piece from the pile of black-gray mist that exploded in the pill furnace just now. Something dark. Slowly said, "This is the elixir I refined." Seeing this dark mass, Wu Hongdao in front of him couldn't help laughing out loud, and said, "Ha ha ha ha, it's really ridiculous and generous. I thought Elder Su was a man of temperament and strength, but I didn't expect you to be a sanctimonious hypocrite. This black thing, no matter who, it's hard to see that he is a pill." "Ha ha ha ha, Elder Sima, I ask you today, do you think it is a pill?" At this time, Wu Hongdao threw his words to Sima Yao. At this time, Sima Yao also turned his head to observe the dark mass carefully. He really wanted to say a few words for Su Han in front of him, but he really couldn't tell what it was. He had no choice but to speak. "I think this thing really needs to be studied. Maybe it is indeed an elixir." After hearing this sentence, Wu Hongdao in front of him had a sneer on his face, and he said to Sima Yao in front of him, "Elder Sima, is it possible that you are old and confused? You are still the elder of my Pill Emperor Pagoda, and you were one of the top Tianzhao at that time, but you can't even tell if these are 10 pills or not. It seems that your heart has completely turned to outsiders. Elder Sima, you really let me down." Before he could finish speaking, Su Han in front of him was suddenly cold and said, "I said it was him. Just keep your eyes open for me to watch carefully." Seeing Su Han in front of him, he breathed lightly. At this time, the mass of black, the black ash on the outside began to fall off slowly. Immediately afterwards, a golden light suddenly shone in the middle of the world, and everyone in front of the flash couldn't open their eyes. Then, a scent of elixir began to diffuse around here. The elders were also shocked by the breath of this powerful medicine. They just smelled it and felt that their realm seemed to have improved slightly. Those monks who were originally stuck in the realm only smelled the fragrance of this elixir at this time, and then it made their originally stuck realm a little impulsive. With a wave of his hand, Su Han directly sealed up the medicinal power of this elixir. It was only at this time that everyone came back to their senses, seeing the elixir with clear lines and shining golden light in Su Han's hand. Their jaws dropped in shock. How is this possible? How could this black mass be the legendary 9th grade elixir? It's impossible. The old man doesn't believe it. This must be a trick you made. Huang Wuxi didn't believe him at all at this time, and he was already crazy. He never imagined that his encounter attitude was like a roller coaster. It turned out that when he saw that 9th grade pill was about to take shape, he was very ashamed. It was very proud and excited when it saw that the 9th grade elixir was about to be formed into a friar. But at this time, the plot was reversed again, which made him think that the black mass in front of him was really a 9th grade elixir. Open your dog's eyes and look carefully to see if he is a 9th grade elixir. If you talk nonsense here again, then I don't mind unscrewing your dog's head and gouging your eyes. Let your eyes take a closer look to see if it's true. At this moment, Su Han had a sneer on his face. Huh, it's okay, I just scared the old man to death. This time, the old man will even be scared out of his illness by this kid. 5th Elder Qin Yiwang also let out a long sigh of relief at this time. He was frightened to death today. He thought that the situation was sure to win, but such a thing happened. He was very worried about Su Han's life. After all, the previous 5 lightning strikes were enough to make him feel scared, but the incident of the explosion of the 9th grade pill later made him very worried again. This time, such a good seed came with great difficulty, and Su Han's alchemy skills are very superb. It can be said that it is even better than those in the Pill Emperor Pagoda. If he died here because of them, then I'm afraid he will be guilty for the rest of his life. Looking at Su Han's confident face, he couldn't help feeling emotional at this moment. Master Wu Tower, how is it? Is this elixir a 9th grade elixir? Don't you know? At this moment, Su Han immediately showed a mocking look on his face, and looked at Wu Hong in front of him and said. At this time, Wu Hongdao seemed to be having difficulty riding his horse, but he had kept saying that the black mass couldn't possibly be a 9th grade elixir. But now, Su Han blew lightly just now, and directly gave him a huge slap. After this 9th grade elixir showed its original shape, he felt ashamed right here. It's weird, it's really weird. What's going on here? How could it be possible to form a 9th grade elixir even though the furnace was blown up? This seems to be something I can't figure out. I wonder if Elder Su can explain it to me? Sima Yao said at this time. He was also full of doubts. The turmoil caused by the friar just now was obvious to all. How could this 9th grade pill be formed after the furnace was fried, which is theoretically impossible? Since Elder Sima has spoken, I will explain to you today. You are too powerful for this 9th grade elixir, and the ordinary alchemy furnace can no longer bear it, so this elixir furnace exploded. Because the birth of the 9th grade elixir carried a huge amount of power, it couldn't bear it alone and exploded, so that a sliver of power from him swept over everyone present, which also surprised me a little bit. Yes, Su Han said. After hearing this sentence, everyone present took a deep breath, and this was just a little bit of power he had released. This little power made everyone present feel very shocked, and even directly made Wu Hongdao, the tower master of the Danwang Tower in front of him, vomit blood. This is enough to prove that the medicinal power of this 9th grade elixir is amazing. After thinking of this, the expression on Wu Hongdao's face in front of him was completely gone from the previous embarrassment. Some are just greedy. He has to find a way to get this 9th grade elixir. This 9th grade elixir may allow him to explore the Tao, and make him stronger. Su Xiaoyu's skill is really powerful. I was indeed wrong just now. I didn't expect Su Xiaoyu to have such a method. Then I can only announce that this alchemy competition is Su Xiaoyu. You won. Old man, I really didn't expect that I would be lucky enough to see the birth of a 9th grade elixir here. This is something I have never seen in my life. I have spent my entire life wanting to refine a 9th grade high grade elixir. A young man is ahead. I don't know, Su Xiaoyu, would you be interested in coming to my Pill Emperor Pagoda? If Su Xiaoyu is willing to come, then you will be the next pagoda master of Pill Emperor Pagoda. If Su Xiaoyu really feels that the old man is in the way, then the old man can abdicate after 10 years. Wu Hong said. Shi also said with a kind face that he really wants to win over Su Han in front of him now. Not to mention anything else, just talking about this alchemy technique has reached its peak. No one pulled out from Dongda in the boat is qualified to compare with Su Han in front of him. After all, he has never seen a person who can refine a 9th grade elixir, and this Su Han can be said to be the #1 person in the Tianqin domain elixir. If you can win Su Han to their side, it will be a very huge gain. Even if you can't win him over, it will be a huge reward if you can let him be named in the Pill Emperor Pagoda as the chief elder. Reward. Later, it was rumored that there was an alchemist in his Danwang Pagoda who was able to stand up to the 9th grade elixir, which also gave him more face, and their status with a single tower would also rise in a straight line. After hearing this sentence, the expression on the face of the 5th elder Qin Yiwang below became very gloomy. I didn't expect that this shameless old guy would be able to do this in order to win over him. You must know that the promise made by the pagoda master of Danwang Pagoda is very tempting. Anyone would agree immediately. Because, agreeing to this request means that he has countless resources. You must know that there is no shortage of medicinal materials in the Pill Emperor Pagoda, and some precious medicinal materials, even they have a lot of accumulation. Sovereign, why don't you go up and say a few words? If you don't talk about what you said, maybe Elder Su will be pried away by this old guy. At that time, you and I don't regret it too late. It's hard to find such a powerful alchemist and be pried away. I'm afraid it's not worth the loss. At this moment, Qin Yiwang spoke to Lin Yan next to him. He could be said to have broken his heart for the entire Yaoyan sect, but all he saw was Lin Yan's calm expression. Elder Qin, we've been together for so long, don't you know who Elder Su is? Lin Yan said. If Elder Su can be so easily moved, then he has already fallen into the embrace of Pill Emperor Pagoda long ago, so don't worry. If Elder Su really insists on leaving, then we have nothing to do. After all, the other party promised it is indeed very touching. If it were me, I might not be able to resist it. Lin Yan then spoke. Just wait quietly. After all, we are not him after all. All this depends on Su Han to make his own decision. At this time, Lin Yan stared thoughtfully at Su Han, who looked calm in front of him. No, I don't dare to join your Pill Emperor Pagoda just like this. After all, in the eyes of Tower Master Wu, I'm just a brat with high ambitions. As he said that, there was a mocking look in Su Han's eyes. This sentence directly changed the expression on Wu Hongdao's face in front of him, and then he said, You, Su Xiaoyu, don't be too arrogant, and I like your talent. You have such a talent, you can refine 9 if you join the Pill Emperor Pagoda. Your talent will be infinitely magnified, which is much better than staying in the Yaoyan sect. Pagoda Master, from my point of view, this fellow Taoist Su doesn't take us seriously at all. He doesn't think much of our Pill Emperor Pagoda at all. After all, the small temple of our Pill Emperor Pagoda probably won't be able to accommodate this great Buddha. At this time, Huang Wuxi also spoke in a strange way. He can't let Su Han come to Danwang Pagoda. Once Su Han comes here, his position will be in jeopardy. In addition, he had already had a grudge with Su Shang before. If Su Han is recruited here, and he really sits on the position of Tower Master in the future, then his life will be difficult. Since Elder Huang has said so, then naturally I won't stay here, but Elder Huang, you have to be careful when you go out in the future, Su Han said with a smile. In Su Han's heart, this Huang Wuxi was already on the must-kill list. After all, this Huang Wuxia's actions had completely shocked Su Han. Let's go, suzerain, it's over, then we should leave too. But let me say one more thing, Master Wuda, it's best not to renege on what you promised us just now. If you renege on it, Su Han said. At this time, Huang Wuxi was about to speak, but was shocked by Wu Hongdao's powerful aura. Shut up. Don't you think it's not enough to be ashamed? Wu Hongdao said with a gloomy face. He didn't expect that the Huang Wuxi in front of him had reached this point and was still thinking about his personal interests. You must know that the person in front of him is the most talented person in the history of alchemy, and he can refine the 9th grade elixir at a young age. The future achievements are limitless, but Huang Wuxi in front of him has already dismissed him with only a few words, which is obviously ruining the future of his Danwang Pagoda. And he, Dan Huang Pagoda, seems to have turned against Su Han because of this Huang Wuxi. This is not a good signal for them. The strength of the people in the Pill Emperor Pagoda is very weak. Although there are people with high realms sitting in the town, they all rely on drugs to raise their cultivation base in the same realm. Compared with other people, they are simply incomparable. But why are they able to flourish? This is because their alchemy is the contacts they have accumulated over the years, allowing them to have such a huge influence. Offending such a young alchemist is obviously not particularly sensible for them. Tower Master, what are you? You don't know the so-called guy, can't you see the form clearly? Let me tell you, if Dan Wangta and Su Han become enemies because of you, then I will definitely kick you out at that time, Wu Hongdao said with a gloomy face. After finishing speaking, he immediately chased after him, as if he wanted to stop Su Han in front of him. After all, his bad words had already made Su Han feel bad. It is likely to be ruined because of this, and he must find ways to build a good relationship. And looking at the back of Wu Hongdao chasing after him, Huang Wuxia's eyes showed a sinister look. There was a hint of demonic energy in the cold eyes that was about to move, but it quickly dissipated. Su Xiaoyu, stay a step, stay a step. At this time, Wu Hongdao immediately chased after him, and said in a very tangled manner, he must find a way to keep this Buddha statue, because if the relationship with Su Han is settled, then their Danwang Pagoda may take advantage of it to soar into the sky. Even if you don't take care of it well, you can't offend it. Oh. Tower Master Wu, we've already said we're leaving. Why are you chasing after me? You know I'm such a high-minded person. Why should the Tower Master of Danwang Tower chase after me? Su Han looked at him at this time. Wu Hongdao, who was about to forcibly keep him, had a mocking look on his face. Ah, this, Su Xiaoyu, don't take what that old bastard said just now. This guy can't represent my Pill Emperor Pagoda, so don't be angry, Su Xiaoyu. Wu Hongdao also said with an embarrassed expression at this time. He has already scolded that Huang Wuxi countless times in his heart at this time. This Huang Wuxi will not open his mouth sooner or later, but he chose those 10 words at this critical moment, which completely offended Su Huang to death. As the Tower Master of the entire Danwang Pagoda, he naturally knew what Huang Wuxia's purpose was, and he was also afraid that Su Han would run him away if he became the Tower Master of the Danwang Pagoda. But he didn't think about the face he had when he failed the 9th grade elixir. These words have already concluded that it is impossible for Su Han to make friends with them. If Wu Hongdao in front of him was more sensible, then at most he would not trouble him in the future, but this Huang Wuxi can be said to be on his death list. At this time, Su Han opened his sky eyes and looked at Wu Hongdao in front of him. Name. Wu Hongdao, age, 28,769 years old, cultivation level, immortal travel first stage. Life evaluation. I was originally an alchemist, but I was obsessed with scheming and wanted to lead the entire Pill Emperor Pagoda to become the most powerful force in Tianquan domain. Recent encounter. Huang Wuxi, the elder under him, is an evil cultivator. After backstabbing, he took one of his cultivation bases and added blood essence to refine it into elixir in order to improve his cultivation base. After seeing Wu Hongdao's introduction panel in front of him, a smile appeared on Su Han's face. After seeing the smile on Su Han's face, Wu Hongdao in front of him thought that this matter seemed to be discussed, so he said it very flatteringly at this time. Elder Su, as long as you are willing to come, even if you are a nominal elder in my Pill Emperor Pagoda, I can give you whatever you want. This Pill Emperor Pagoda does not have many other things and has the most medicinal materials. As a pharmacist, presumably what is missing is the medicinal materials. You will have whatever medicinal materials you want. Hehe. There is no need for Master Wu Tower. We will owe each other in the future, and what you have done recently, I may see it in my eyes. It is impossible to join your Danwang Tower, but I still kindly remind you, pay attention to the people under your own hands, don't die for no reason at that time. After hearing this sentence, Wu Hongdao's face changed drastically, and he said coldly, Su Xiaoyu, it's not appropriate for you to say this, old man. Although I should have offended you with my previous words, there is no need to say such words. Come on, you just want to curse the old man to death, don't you? Ha ha ha, that's not necessary, it's just a kind reminder to Master Wu Tower. Well, since there's nothing else, I'll leave first. But remember to send the things here. After all, this is what we won from a bet. This is what we won. I hope Master Wuda will not renege on it. Su Han also laughed at this time. I have already reminded him, but if he doesn't listen, I can't blame myself. But he just wanted to see a joke. This Huang Wuxi turned out to be an evil cultivator, and even wanted to take the human body and refine blood. This guy must be eliminated. But before that, he still wanted to see a good show, to see how the internal turmoil in the Pill Emperor Pagoda was. Let's go, suzerain. After they deliver the things, most of the disciples will be fine, Su Han said. Lin Yan also nodded in satisfaction at this time. It seems that he is old after all. He never thought that he would have to rely on a new elder to turn the tide. Without him, I am afraid that he is still working on the affairs of the sect. Anxiously battered. On the other side, seeing Wu Hongdao walking back with a gloomy face, Huang Wuxi breathed a sigh of relief at this moment, and those 10 old faces immediately showed ugly smiles like chrysanthemums. Tower Master. What's the situation? Does this kid know what's good or what's wrong? Huang Wuxi asked knowingly at this time, and said. HMPH, shut up, if it wasn't for you, it wouldn't be so difficult. There is also Su Han, a brat with a broken mirror, who dared to give me a face. If it wasn't for that old bastard Lin Yan, I would have been forcibly tied back by me a long time ago. It's abominable, Wu Hongdao said through gritted teeth. He never thought that such a stinky boy with a broken mirror would make him lose face so much in his own territory, and face his own solicitation. He would deal with it like this, and even cursed himself to die when he left. What the Tower Master said is that I will definitely think it over before opening my mouth next time, but this kid is too ignorant. My Pill Emperor Pagoda recruited him so much, he dared to refuse like this, and humiliated us. Next time he will absolutely, you can't let him go. Huang Wuxi sneered at this time. He already had a plan in his heart, and he absolutely couldn't keep someone as talented as Su Han, because once he grew up, he might be in trouble too. This time, he and Su Han had formed a big bond. Although he didn't know whether Su Han had the idea of getting rid of himself, but in order to avoid future troubles, he must not let Su Han go. He knew that Su Han was just a brat in the Broken Realm, as just a master of alchemy. If he is not protected by Yao Yanzong's group of reckless people who only know how to practice, then he is extremely fragile. HMPH, Lin Xiao, come here. Wu Hongdao pointed at Lin Xiao next to him. Lin Xiao also ran over honestly at this time, with a look of fear in his eyes. Tower Master, what's the matter? Lin Xiao asked. When the time comes, go back and get in touch with this Su Han, and try every means to see if you can put him in my Pill Emperor Tower. Although he has superb alchemy skills, he is just a brat in the Broken Realm. Your strength on top of him, believe me, you should be able to abduct him once you go back. Well, Tower Master, this seems to be a bit difficult. After all, I am a member of the Pill Emperor Tower. It seems a bit inappropriate to run back now. Lin Xiao said in a slightly embarrassed manner. No, what's wrong? What do you think that old guy Lin Yan will do to you? If you tell you to go, go. How can there be so much nonsense? Wu Hongdao also had no patience at this time. He was already angry at being so insulted by Su Han before, but he never thought that Lin Xiao would dare to disobey his orders. Lin Xiao's face was also very ugly at this time. He is now a member of the Pill Emperor Pagoda. Although Lin Yan is his father, he is no longer a member of the Yaoyan sect. He will definitely be pointed at when he goes back, and even will be seen clearly by my father. This is tantamount to pressing his face into the ground, but it is not easy for him to disobey Wu Hongdao's order. Don't worry, it will definitely be beneficial to let you go. After you abduct that little fellow Su Han, you will have whatever you want from the medicinal materials in my Pill Emperor Pagoda. Even in alchemy, I will have people come to guide you specially. I believe that you will become a 5th-rank alchemist, and it will be just around the corner. Wu Hongdao naturally knew that he should not push too hard. If he insisted on pushing, it would only be counterproductive. Slap him and then give him a jujube. He still knew this truth. After hearing this sentence, Lin Xiao in front of him seemed to be tempted. Although face is important, the improvement of strength is more important than anything else. If there is no strength, what is the use of face? Okay, let's get back. I'm tired, and as for the things that Yao Yanzong wants to send to them tomorrow, I don't want to be told by the world that the people in my Danwang Pagoda are all reckless people. Wu Hongdao said indifferently. Yes, Tower Master, don't worry, I will do it soon, so you can go to rest. Huang Wuxi said with a compliment at this time. Wu Hongdao in front of him nodded, then turned to leave, and after confirming that Wu Hongdao had left, the expression on Huang Wuxi's face in front of him gradually became cold. The old guy will let you live a few more days. Wait for a few days, after the full moon night comes, I will let you see with your own eyes what cruelty is. Huang Wuxi sneered. After he finished all these things, then the people in the Pill Emperor Pagoda will become the medicinal materials for him to improve his strength, and all of this must start with him first refining the body of the Pill Emperor Pagoda Master. Sovereign, let's get ready. The pattern of Kunu will change a lot in the near future, so let's make good preparations in recent days, Su Han said. Lin Yan in front of him was a little puzzled after hearing what he said, and asked, why do you say that? Will something come out in the near future? No, I see that Huang Wuxi of the Pill Emperor Pagoda has a wicked mind, and it is very likely that he will do something wrong at that time, so we must prepare in advance. Su Han had already prepared a set of arguments. He concluded that Huang Wuxi would do something in a few days and use Wu Hongdao's body and blood essence to refine elixir, not that the elixir pagoda would change hands later. Okay then, I'll make good preparations. Lin Yan also nodded, because he knew that what Su Han in front of him said was not unreasonable, and he knew exactly what kind of virtues those people in Danwang Pagoda had. And who is that Huang Wuxi? He knows better, that guy is a despicable villain. At this moment, the sound of a group of disciples making trouble outside came, and Su Han was also a little puzzled at this time. What happened? Why is it so noisy outside? Su Han asked. Go out and have a look, maybe someone looking for trouble is here. Lin Yan's face flashed a cold look. After the two of them walked out of the Pill Emperor Pagoda, they saw Lin Xiao standing in front of the sect with an embarrassed expression on his face. A group of disciples stood in front of him and pointed at him, But Lin Xiao also looked a little ashamed at this time. Hee. You are so embarrassed to come back. Why don't you continue to stay in the Pill Emperor Pagoda? Or do they say they don't want you anymore, kicked you out, and now you have no way out and come back here? There was a disciple next to him, who also spoke coldly at this time. After hearing this sentence, Lin Xiao in front of him raised his head, his eyes were bloodshot, and said, "Go away. What face do you have to say such things in front of me? A good bird chooses a tree to live in. What's wrong with me doing this? If you speak rudely again, then don't blame me for being merciless. Traitor, how do you still have the face to come back?" After hearing this sentence, the disciples of Yao Yanzong, at this time, heard the overwhelming sound of abuse. Huazhong Lin Xiao's actions can be said to have shamed the entire Yaozong. At that time, Lin Xiao could be said to be very talented, and he also had an identity, that is, the son of the suzerain Lin Yan. What is even more gratifying is that he had a good alchemy talent at that time, but this guy actually betrayed their Yao Yanzong and took refuge in the Pill Emperor Pagoda. This made Yao Yanzong, which lacked alchemists, even worse, and the news of his betrayal also hit Lin Yan, who was the suzerain of Yao Yanzong, deeply. But he didn't expect him to run back now. At this time, Su Han also noticed that Lin Yan's face next to him was very gloomy. "Okay, be quiet." Chu Tianrui asked the disciple next to him to stop cursing, and walked forward to look at Lin Xiao in front of him and said, "Why are you coming back? Didn't you already take refuge in the Pill Emperor Pagoda? What is the purpose of coming back now?" Chu Tianrui didn't say much, but stared straight at Lin Xiao in front of him. "Can't I come back? After all, my father is still here, I miss him, can't I come to him?" After hearing this sentence, Lin Yan's expression became even uglier. And Lin Xiao was also very ashamed at this time. He didn't want to return to this place at all, because he knew that once he returned here, his face and dignity would be lost. But he had to do this, in order to obtain a more powerful alchemy technique, in order to make himself stronger, he could only do so. Thinking of this, he was also relieved, and then his face became flat, because the previous shame had disappeared without a trace. "What are you doing back here, Nizi?" Lin Yan walked out at this time, only to see his face livid, questioning Lin Xiao in front of him. "Why can't I come back? This is my home. Is it wrong for me to come back?" Lin Xiao said. "You still have the face to mention the word home. Do you regard this place as your home again? When the sect was in the most difficult time, you didn't think about helping the sect to overcome the difficulties, but instead took refuge in hostile forces. Do you feel worthy of those senior brothers?" Lin Yan said. "Father, I naturally have my reasons for doing this. In the Yaoyan sect back then, there was no way to grow up, and it was the wisest choice to take refuge in the Pill Emperor Pagoda. After all, they can refine the elixir we need, and I went there to make myself stronger." Lin Xiao looked at Lin Yan in front of him. He didn't feel that he did something wrong at all, instead he met his gaze. "Okay, boy, you really have something to say. What is the purpose of coming this time? With your personality, you will come back. I categorically don't believe it here. Did those old guys want you to come? What kind of virtue do you have, kid? I'm still clear. You can't run back for no reason. Is it related to Su Xiaoyu?" Lin Yan snorted and said slowly. As for Lin Xiao's purpose, he had already seen clearly. He knew what kind of virtue his son was, and his son valued strength and face very much. Back then, he was able to walk out of Yao Yanzong like this, and he had already lost all face. It is absolutely impossible for him to come back now. If he can come back again, it must be because the Pill Emperor Pagoda sent him a mission, and it must have given him great benefits. "Father, you're just too old-fashioned. Haven't you seen the 10 rounds clearly yet? The elixir they refined in the Pill Emperor Pagoda has already cut off our lifeline, and their relationship with the major sects is also a big help. What's wrong with relying on them? In addition, the elder Su in front of you has such a powerful talent, and he can practice a 9th grade pill at a young age. It can be said that he is unparalleled in the world. Only by joining the Danwang Pagoda can he maximize his talent and make the entire Tianquan domain better." What he said was so powerful that even he himself thought it was perfect, but Lin Yan in front of him sneered and said, Okay, you such a rebellious person didn't learn anything else there, but you learned a lot about flattering and talking nonsense. I think you didn't do this for the future of Tian Kunu, nor for the disciples of the Yaoyan sect, but for yourself and to get more benefits for yourself, so you did such a thing. How did I give birth to a bastard like you? It's really ridiculous. I, Lin Yan, have been frank and upright all my life. It's shameful to have such a son. Come back. As Lin Yan said that, a sad look appeared on Lin Yan's face, that tall body gradually bent down, and the whole person seemed to be getting older gradually. This farce can be regarded as allowing the entire Yao Yanzong disciples to see the joke between their father and son. Interesting, so you were sent here to recruit me. That's really interesting. Those guys have sent you out now. It seems that they are planning to play the emotional card. They want to use your relationship with your father to get me there, right? Su Han only felt a little ridiculous and said, Elder Su, your talent is the strongest I have ever seen. There is no such thing. You can refine a 9th grade pill at such a young age. If you can join the Pill Emperor Pagoda, your talent will be infinitely magnified. Only the Pill Emperor Pagoda is your destination. Only the Pill Emperor Pagoda can allow you to display your talent wantonly. Lin Shao said with ecstasy in his eyes. Once he can persuade Su Han to go back, then his strength will be more refined, or he can learn many useful things by following Su Han. Even if you don't take it back, there is no loss. Name. Lin Shao, age 10639, luck level, light golden, with a hint of black. Strength. Shenyuan realm, recent encounter. In the near future, the evil cultivator Huang Wuxi will take his body and blood, use it to refine medicine, and die tragically. What kind of place do you think your Danwang Pagoda is? Su Han glanced at Lin Shao's panel in front of him, and said with a slightly mocking look on his face. The Pill Emperor Pagoda is one of the most powerful forces today, and its proficient alchemy has promoted the development of the entire Tianquan domain. It can be said that the Pill Emperor Pagoda is one of the best forces in the righteous way, and the most indispensable force. Lin Shao said without hesitation that this was one of the reasons why he joined the Pill Emperor Pagoda in the first place, because it could develop better after joining the Pill Emperor Pagoda. Good birds choose trees to live in. This is the truth that has not changed since ancient times. That's really incredible. Listening to your description, it's not an exaggeration to say that the Pill Emperor Pagoda is the leader of the righteous way, but is it really what you imagined? Su Han smiled. In your eyes, these brothers and sisters of yours are reckless men who only know how to practice, right? Isn't it? Moreover, the cultivation method of the Yaoyan sect has great disadvantages. If there is no Qingshan pill to restrain it, then everyone will become a snake demon, a monster who is neither human nor ghost, and even loses reason. What good is this cultivation method? This is the reason why I joined the Pill Emperor Pagoda. Only by joining the Pill Emperor Pagoda can I have a better development. If one day there is no Qingshan pill, then our Yaoyan sect will exist in name only, and our disciples will also become snake monsters and be killed by the world. Is this the future you want? Lin Shao said righteously. In his opinion, there is something wrong with Yao Yanzong's cultivation method. As long as he practices it, he will definitely become a snake demon and lose his mind. Even if it's not an evil cultivation method, it's almost the same as the cultivation method. You rebellious son. What do you mean by this sentence? Do you think that our Yao Yanzong people are all monsters? Lin Yan couldn't bear it anymore, only to see him wave his hand, and a powerful wave of air directly attacked Lin Shao in front of him. Huh, it's ridiculous, it's ridiculous. I, Yao Yanzong, have been regarded as monsters for so long since the establishment of the sect. Moreover, my disciples of Yao Yanzong, who usually fight against the strong and help the weak, hate evil like hatred, have nothing to want, and one day they will be regarded as monsters by people who go out of my family. It's sad, sad. Fifth Elder Qin Yiwang had a sad expression on his face at this moment. And the person who said these words was the suzerain's son. This sentence was like a sharp knife that directly penetrated into the hearts of all the disciples present. Did I say something wrong? What I said was not wrong, and what I did was not wrong. Lin Shao said at this time with his face flushed and his eyes scarlet. Okay, let's end this farce here. Do you think that the Danwang Pagoda you are in is the Orthodox sect? Why don't you tell me what the Orthodox sect is? Su Han asked. This time, Lin Shao was speechless, because after staying in Danwang Pagoda for so long, he was completely aware of the virtues of those guys. Those guys can be said to be a group of greedy, hypocritical and cunning people. Hee. In your eyes, the group of people who practice your so-called evil skills usually hoe the strong and help the weak, and they don't bully the weak. The most important thing is that they didn't lead others to take advantage of the situation when they were down, Su Han said. You are a fallacy, when the Pill Emperor Pagoda has long been an indispensable part of the Orthodox sect, and what's wrong with the weak and the strong in this world? Lin Shao said angrily. Su Xiaoyu, there's no need to argue with him, this kid is already in too deep, just pretend that I don't have this son, and you don't need to continue discussing with him, that kid is hopeless. Lin Yan sighed helplessly, he knew that his son had been completely fascinated by strength. Sect Master, since I am the elder of the Yaoyan sect, I will let him walk on the right path, Su Han said. Don't you want to persuade me to go back? Well, I will give you a chance. After 3 days, I will personally follow you back to the Danwang Pagoda, Su Han said. Hearing this sentence, Lin Shao in front of him was overjoyed. He didn't expect that Su Han in front of him would be so easily persuaded by himself. Thinking of this, he was very happy. In this way, the benefits promised to him by Wu earlier can be said to be realized. At that time, there is hope to advance to the 5th rank pharmacist. He seemed to see a stronger self waving to him. Before he could be happy for a long time, he spoke again. However, after these 3 days, I'm not going back to the Pill Emperor Pagoda with you to be some kind of elder. I'm going to take you to see what kind of virtue is the so-called leader of the righteous path in the Pill Emperor Pagoda. So, the best, I will take you back. I believe Elder Su, you will definitely see the sincerity of our Pill Emperor Pagoda, and you will definitely stay in our Pill Emperor Pagoda when the time comes. As for the Yaoyan sect, there is no need to come back. Lin Xiao was overjoyed and said, Su Xiaoyu, are you really going to follow this Nizi to the Pill Emperor Pagoda in 3 days? After going there, you won't be able to come back. Lin Yan said. Don't worry, suzerain, I didn't go there to join the Pill Emperor Pagoda, but to persuade your son to return from the wrong way. Su Han said at this time. Su Xiaoyu, no, there is no need to take risks for such a rebellious son. Elder Su, you also know that those people in Danwang Pagoda are absolutely untrustworthy. Maybe after entering, they may not be able to come out as they like. They will definitely try their best, and they may even imprison you there. After hearing this sentence, Lin Yan was also very worried. After all, what are the virtues of those people in Danwang Pagoda? He knows it very well. That's right, there's no need to make such a move. All of this is not worth it. If the traitor is not persuaded to come back, but you are included instead, that would be bad. 5th Elder Qin Yiwang said. After 3 days, I will go back with you. At that time, I will let you see with your own eyes what kind of virtues the so-called orthodox sect you are talking about is. I want to see if you will regret the choice you made at the beginning, Su Han said. Then he cast a reassuring look at Lin Yan and Qin Yiwang in front of him. Okay, that's really great. Since that's the case, then we've made an agreement. You must go back with me when the time comes. Lin Xiao was also very happy at this time. This also means that he has completely succeeded in doing this matter, and then he will be able to fully obtain the many benefits that Wu Hongdao, the master of the Pill Emperor Pagoda, will have. In that case, I will come here 3 days later to personally meet Elder Su and you to go to my Zhouwang Pagoda. After Lin Xiao finished speaking, he left very happily. After seeing Lin Xiao gradually walking away, Qin Yiwang walked up at this time. His eyes were full of helplessness, and said, Su Xiaoyu, why did you agree to this traitor's request? Although he is the son of our suzerain, he is hopeless. That's right. I know the nature of my son best. He's hopeless. There's no need to take on yourself for such a rebellious son. If you go back to the Danwang Pagoda at that time, if those guys want to plot against you, I'm afraid it will be difficult to deal with it without us, Lin Yan said. He was still a little worried. After all, who knew if those people in Pill Emperor Pagoda really invited Su Han to go over? In case Su Han is allowed to pass by, he will be imprisoned forcibly by means, or threatened. Su Sai is alone over there, and it may not be so easy to deal with those old guys. Don't worry, I have my own plans for all of this. Don't worry, suzerain, I will bring your son here and bring him back when the time comes. I will definitely make him regret it, Su Han said. Since that's the case, well, since Xiaoyu Su, you have already made a plan, so you can do everything according to what you said. If you need us, just ask at any time, and we will rush over immediately, Lin Yan said. The 3 days passed like a white horse passing by quickly. At this time, Lin Xiao walked up to Yaoyan sect again, only to see that his face was full of joy, and there was a look of complacency in his eyes. And in front of him was a group of disciples of Yaoyan sect with gloomy faces. Elder Su, I'll go with you. If those guys want to threaten you with any means, then I can help you resist. Liang Yeshui walked up immediately at this time. He was worried that Su Han would go alone. Okay, don't worry, I have already arranged all these. Besides, there is still the suzerain, and you must know the strength of the suzerain, Su Han said. He directly rejected the request. After all, Liang Yuxu's strength is still not enough. If he is brought there, he will be distracted to take care of her. HMPH, don't let me hear any news that Elder Su has suffered a lot from your side. If you let me know, then even if I risk my life, I will turn your Danwang Pagoda upside down. At this time, Chu Tianrui also spoke in a bad tone. Hee, of course I wouldn't do that. After all, Elder Su is extremely powerful, and it's too late for us to confess him, so how could we possibly offend him? At this moment, Lin Xiao squeezed out a smile on his face. Su Han looked at the sun in the sky, with a mysterious and indifferent smile on his face. Then he walked forward on his own, and Lin Xiao followed closely behind him. Elder Su, don't worry, wait for me, Lin Xiao said. Of course you have to be anxious. After all, the good show is about to begin. If you don't hurry up, you will miss this good show, Su Han said in a flat tone at this time. Hearing this sentence, Lin Xiao in front of him looked puzzled. He didn't know what the sentence meant, and he still didn't understand it. On the other side, in the Pill Emperor Pagoda, Wang Zhangdao was sitting in front of the pill stove at this moment and started practicing pill. A few days ago, what happened a few days ago is still vivid in his memory. Such a brat actually has alchemy skills that are stronger than theirs, which makes him feel a little ashamed. It even made him have to understand that he should start to practice now, and he must improve his alchemy skills, otherwise, the Pill Emperor Tower will only become weaker. Tower Master, I have something important to report to you. Huang Wuxi ran in at this moment. What's the matter? At this time, Wu Hongdao said impatiently. He had had enough of this guy in front of him. If he hadn't made some contributions to the Danwang Pagoda, Wu Hongdao would have already been unable to bear the temptation to attack him. A few days ago, I heard that Lin Xiao had already dealt with Su Han. Su Han couldn't help but follow him to Arjoli Pagoda, Huang Wuxi said. Really? That's really great. I didn't expect that kid Lin Xiao to really persuade him. Sure enough, the old man used this trick really well. Let Lin Xiao go to persuade him, and he abducted Su Han without any effort. That's an alchemist who can refine a 9th grade elixir. From now on, my Danzhou Pagoda will become more and more prosperous. Wu Hongdao swept away the previous haze, and now his old face was smiling as brightly as a chrysanthemum. Not only that, but my subordinate also has a good thing. Let me tell you that I got a medicinal material outside before, which is a rare and precious medicinal material. Huang Wuxi pretended to be very excited and said. Oh, what kind of medicinal material? What kind of medicinal material can make you so happy? After all, what kind of medicinal material can make your mood appear so huge? Fluctuations? Wu Hongdao was also a little surprised at this time. He asked. I found the rumored red beard fire dragon grass. A while ago in the crater, I accidentally discovered this herb. This is an important discovery. With this herb, I'm afraid we will be able to refine a more powerful elixir by then. After hearing Huang Wuxia's answer, Wu Hongdao's eyes became very shocked at this moment. This red-bearded dragon plant grows in the crater, and the crater is naturally not a safe place, and there are many big medicines nearby. There are even rumors that there is a powerful monster living in the crater. According to the former monk, every time he passes by, he can feel the turbulent sound and a powerful coercion from the crater. As for which volcano it is, he already knew it in his heart, because there is only one volcano in the dangerous area in Tianquan domain. That was the volcano in the depths of the withered forest. After hearing that Huang Wuxi in front of him actually got the red-bearded dragon grass, he was very shocked and at the same time had some doubts. The red-bearded fire dragon grass is obviously in the depths of the withered forest, and there are many big monsters guarding it. How did you get it? Wu Hongdao looked suspiciously at Huang Wuxi in front of him. A while ago, I saw an injured monk near the withered forest. He fell into a coma, but he walked out of the withered forest, and he had many good things on him. He had the red-bearded dragon grass in his hand, so it can be said that I missed it. If you don't believe me, then take a good look at it, Tower Master. There must be nothing wrong with what this subordinate said. I got this thing because of my luck, and I took it here specially to honor you. After all, with this red-bearded dragon grass, I'm afraid I can refine a more perfect elixir in the future. At that time, you will definitely become the most outstanding alchemist in the entire Tianquan domain. Huang Wuxia's flattery for a while completely dispelled Wu Hongdao's doubts in front of him, and he was in a good mood. Ha 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 ha, Elder Huang, you have a heart, you really have a heart. I didn't expect that since you are so loyal to my Pill Emperor Pagoda, you can say that you were doing your best for the development of my Pill Emperor Pagoda. Okay, that's really great. When I improve my alchemy skills, I will make a good point and point you out. At this moment, Wu Hongdao was completely inflated under the flattering flattery. If this red bloodfire dragon grass can be handed over to Su Han to refine, then he may be able to refine a more powerful pill by then. Once I take this elixir, maybe I can take it a step further, and maybe I can spy on that even more powerful realm. Wu Hongdao thought that the whole person had completely entered into a fantasy. After hearing this sentence, Huang Wuxia's eyes in front of him became even colder, and the killing intent hidden in his eyes seemed to leak a little at this time, but he quickly hid it again. Headmaster, come, pick it up, and I'll give you the red-bearded fire dragon grass. At this time, Huang Wuxi handed over the red-bearded dragon grass respectfully. Wu Hongdao took the red-bearded fire dragon plant, and when he caught the red-bearded fire dragon plant, he felt a sharp pain in his hand. At the same time, the cultivation base in his body is losing at a speed visible to the naked eye. This blade of grass seems to have sealed his cultivation so that he is now a defenseless person. What's going on here? What's the matter with this red-bearded dragon grass? Why have all my cultivation bases disappeared? At this time, Wu Hongdao said with a face full of horror that he had already recovered from the inflated mentality before. His brain quickly calmed down, his face became cold, and he stared at Huang Wuxi in front of him. What's going on with Huang Wuxi? This grass is weird. At this time, Wu Hongdao had a questioning look in his eyes, while Tian Fen stared at Huang Wuxi angrily. It's really not easy for the old guy to fool you, but it took me a lot of effort. I still have to say those words that flatter you with no conscience. You old guy really makes me feel sick, but now you are an unarmed trash, ha 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 ha. At this time, Huang Wuxi finally revealed his true face. He stared at Huang Wuxi in front of him with a surprised expression, and there was a little greed in his eyes. Huang Wuxi, what do you want to do? Do you want to betray Danwang Pagoda? Wu Hongdao's face was livid. He never thought that one day he would be tricked, and he would be tricked by his subordinates. What are you doing? Can't you see it now? I've been waiting for this day for a long time. You old guy really makes me feel very uncomfortable, Zhongko Suhan. Shut up, Suhan. Suhan, this damn brat, is only a bit talented in alchemy, yet he dares to be so arrogant and domineering. However, sooner or later, I will personally eat away his flesh and blood, Huang Wuxi said with evil spirits all over his body. The devilish energy in his body was completely uncontrollable, but fortunately, he had already set up a forbidden space to completely isolate the breath between the two of them, so the current Wu Hongdao said that every day should not work, and the earth would not work. This is demon energy, Huang Wuxi. What are you trying to do? Why is energy appearing on your body? Wu Hongdao said with a very ugly face. He never thought that an evil cultivator would appear in his Danwang Pagoda, and this evil cultivator had been hiding under his nose for so many years, and even held an important position in his Danwang Pagoda. If this matter spreads, then I am afraid their reputation of Pill Emperor Pagoda will be even worse. But in the next second, he became very terrified again. If the Huang Wuxi in front of him was an evil cultivator, then I am afraid that the purpose of his trip was to kill himself. Ha 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 ha, Wu Hongdao, you damn old guy, I've been waiting for this day for a long time. Huang Wuxi stared at Wu Hongdao in front of him greedily, and said. In the next second, the alchemy furnace next to Wu Hongdao was inexplicably ignited and began to operate. Ha 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 ha, ha 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 ha, I can finally have a good meal, you old guy's flesh and blood are enough for me to refine a good pill, Huang Wuxi said with a sinister face. After hearing this sentence, Wu Hongdao's body shook, he couldn't believe it, he raised his hand and said with trembling fingertips. You lunatic, you damn lunatic, actually want to use the flesh and blood of living people to make alchemy, don't you know it's taboo? Taboo, so what? As long as you can get strong strength. As long as I devour your old guy's flesh and refine it into elixir, then my strength will rise to a new level. At that time, even those old guys from the Yaoyan sect may not be able to stop me. My cultivation will be stronger than them. Huang Wuxi sneered. Thus, Wu Hongdao's body was tightly controlled by Huang Wuxi. Huang Wuxi directly locked Wu Hongdao's body tightly with secret techniques, and then threw it into the alchemy furnace. Wu Hongdao felt the pain of burning his body in the alchemy furnace. He could feel that his body was being burned by the flames, and his blood essence seemed to be being continuously extracted. In this way, Wu Hongdao's fate as the Tower Master of Pill Emperor Pagoda came to an end. His flesh and blood were transformed into a black elixir under the combination of some strange medicinal materials. That black elixir shot people's soul and shone with some strange rays of light. Ha 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 ha, finally practiced, as long as I swallow this ammunition, then I will become extremely powerful. At that time, I will swallow the flesh and blood of all the disciples and elders in the entire Pill Emperor Pagoda, cooperate with the full moon night tonight, absorb the power of heaven and earth, and use it to refine elixirs. Then my strength will become the strongest in the entire Tianquan domain. Huang Wuxi was completely insane. Looking at the pill in front of him, he swallowed it without hesitation. In the next second, he felt that there seemed to be a strong force surging in his body, swimming among his 7 meridians and 8 meridians. Soon, he spit out blood from his mouth. If anyone was present, it would be obvious that the meridians on his body had begun to squirm continuously. There are even some dark lines appearing on the neck and arms. Huang Wuxi was also howling in pain, and after an hour passed, Huang Wuxi collapsed on the ground. But he slowly raised his head, and the expression on his face was full of enjoyment and satisfaction. Successful, finally successful, my current realm is only a step away from the supreme realm. Not enough. Not enough. I want to devour the flesh and blood of everyone in the Danwang Pagoda, and then I will directly reach the Supreme Realm. Huang Wuxi was completely insane at this moment. But soon he returned to his previous normal appearance, and he walked out of the alchemy pavilion like no one else was there. Since this is the case, it's time to start the next plan, and the next step is to swallow the spirit and flesh and blood of everyone here. Huang Wuxi sneered. At this time, Su Han and Lin Xiao had already reached the foot of the mountain where Danwang Pagoda was located. Elder Su, why do you have to rest here? Why don't you and I sit in the Pill Emperor Pagoda for a while? What is there to miss in this mundane world? We are monks. In this mundane world, we will only lose ourselves. We must continue to work hard for cultivation. Lin Xiao asked with a puzzled face. It was obvious that Su Han's speed was so fast that he couldn't even keep up with him, but after he reached the foot of the Danwang Pagoda, he didn't go to the Danwang Pagoda and just wandered around at the foot of the mountain. Don't worry, we will go there in the evening, and I will follow you to the Danwang Pagoda in the evening. Su Han took a sip of the tea in his hand, and said with a look of enjoyment. Elder Su, what's going on with you? Since you're already here, why do you have to wait until night? We're obviously going back to the Danwang Pagoda. Why are we acting like thieves? Lin Xiao also said helplessly. Of course, there is nothing wrong with strolling outside, but at the foot of this mountain, Lin Xiao always felt a little weird. Didn't I say it? I'm going to take you to see a good show. You'll know it at night. It will subvert your cognition at night. A mysterious smile appeared on Su Han's face. Lin Xiao in front of him was also very puzzled, but he didn't care too much considering how much effort he had put in to get Su Han to come to the Pill Emperor Pagoda. After all, the person in front of him is the one who can determine his own future. If you serve him well, then you will get great benefits in the future. Since he still wants to go at night, then he can let him alone. Anyway, it is not always the same to go to Danwang Pagoda with him sooner or later. He has been waiting for 3 days, and it won't matter if he waits a little longer. In order to be able to improve his strength, he has stayed in the Danwang Pagoda for so many years, and now such a good opportunity is in front of him, so what if he waits a little longer? It's a pity, such a righteous leader, such a Danwang Pagoda, then at night you will know what kind of virtue he is. Su Han said. What does Elder Su mean by these words? Are you looking down on our Pill Emperor Pagoda? Lin Xiao frowned after hearing this sentence, and said. No, I didn't look down on them, I never looked at them directly. Su Han said with a smile. However, I have a question here. Apart from Wu Hongdao, who is the strongest in alchemy in the Pill Emperor Pagoda? Su Han asked immediately. In terms of alchemy, apart from him, Elder Sima and Elder Huang should be the strongest. However, Elder Sima seems to have fallen into a bottleneck recently, and it seems that the bottleneck is so big that it even affects his mentality, making him frustrated repeatedly during alchemy. So to sum up, now that we are the Yellow Pagoda, apart from the pagoda owner, the only one who is more powerful in alchemy is Huang Wuxi, Elder Huang. Lin Xiao said without any concealment. After all, it's not a big deal. Besides, as long as Su Han is in the Pill Emperor Pagoda, he will know all these things, so he doesn't need to hide them. Then this so-called Huang Wuxi, Elder Huang, what kind of person do you think he is? At this time, Su Han had already asked the point. He looked at Lin Xiao in front of him, and the smile on his face became even more strange. Although Elder Huang is a bit utilitarian, he still fulfills his duties to the Danwang Pagoda on weekdays, and he is also one of the indispensable forces of the righteous way. Our people in the Danwang Tower are the most important calendar areas in the righteous way in this world. On weekdays, we have also done a lot of things that are conducive to finding the right way. The pills of other sects are all refined by us. It's like your Yaoyan sect. If it weren't for us, then they would have already become street rats who were beaten and killed by other sects. Lin Xiao said that his whole body gradually straightened up, and he became quite proud. After hearing his words, Su Han began to clap his hands slowly, and then said, It's amazing, it's really amazing. If that's the case, then we can have a good show today. Seeing at this moment, the sky has slowly darkened, and this round of taller ones is hanging above the sky, and it is shining brightly at this moment. Okay, the time has come. Since this is the case, let's go up the mountain to see what your Pill Emperor Pagoda looks like now, Su Han said. Although these words made Lin Xiao in front of him feel very puzzled, but he didn't think too much about it. At this moment, his whole heart was already filled with excitement. As long as Su Han can be brought up safely, then he will get everything he wants by then. Both cultivation and alchemy will be improved. Lin Xiao didn't notice that the bright full moon in the sky became more and more alluring at this moment, and the original white moonlight slowly turned scarlet at this moment. Lin Xiao brought Su Han to the gate of his Pill Emperor Pagoda, but at this moment, the Pill Emperor Pagoda seemed a bit bleak. What's going on here? In the past, there should have been guards here. Why is there no one in my Danwang Pagoda now? Could it be that something happened? Or do they have something to go down the mountain? Lin Xiao was full of doubts at this moment, and Su Han beside him was already mentally prepared. When this happens, there is only one possibility, and Huang Wuxi may have already made a move. At this moment, the disciples and even the elders of the Pill Emperor Pagoda inside will probably suffer disaster soon. In other words, they were already trapped in it. Lin Xiao immediately stepped forward, trying to open the door, but found a mysterious force that immediately bounced him away. At this time, he stood up in a state of embarrassment, only to see that his whole body was dirty, and he said with a look of shock on his face. What's going on here? What happened? Why did this mysterious force appear? It's interesting, it's really interesting. If that's the case, then it's time for you to watch this scene carefully, Su Han said. At this time, Su Han walked forward and was only an arm's length away from the gate of the Danwang Pagoda, only to see his slowly raised hand gently tap the gate. That door opened slowly, and after a long silence, a disciple started to flee in a panic. Immediately afterwards, more and more addresses began to escape from the Pill Emperor Tower. Seeing this situation, Lin Xiao was in a daze at the moment. He still hasn't figured out what exactly happened, why he only went out for a few days, and the Pill Emperor Pagoda has become like this, and seeing the appearance of these disciples fleeing, he seemed to realize something. Could it be that demons have invaded? Lin Xiao said. Yes, and no, you can see the reason as long as you go in, Su Han said. In the next second, Su Han led Lin Xiao into the Pill Emperor Pagoda slowly. But after he walked in, he found that the Pill Emperor Pagoda was in a terrible state at this moment, because the ground of the Pill Emperor Pagoda was already covered with bones. What horrified him the most was that the ground was full of disciples who had been sucked out, and even some elders were among them. What's going on here? Could it be that the evil spirits really invaded? What about the Tower Master, and those elders? Did they all die at the hands of the evil spirits? Lin Xiao was even more shocked at this moment. Look up and take a good look. You're going to find the demons up there, but they're just staring at you from above. At this time, Su Han pointed to the sky with a smile on his face. Lin Xiao looked up at the sky. At this moment he was extremely shocked, because there was a figure he was familiar with floating in the sky. It was Huang Wuxi whom he praised earlier. Elder Huang, it's impossible. What's going on? It's impossible. What happened? Could it be that Elder Huang was taken away by a demon? Lin Xiao was shocked at the moment. Ha 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 ha, ha 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 ha, it's fun, it's really fun. After absorbing this blood essence, the old man's strength is already very strong. However, what surprised the old man was that, Su Han, you damn brat actually came. It seems that you brought him here, Lin Xiao. Lin Xiao, what you did is really great. Tuzheng is worried about how to get rid of this kid. I didn't expect you to bring him here. If that's the case, then the old man will plunder the flesh and blood in his body. Huang Wuxi said proudly. It's impossible at all. How could you be a demon? What's going on? Who are you? Lin Xiao looked mad at the moment. He had previously boasted in front of others that his Danwang Tower was the leader of the righteous way, and everyone in his Danwang Tower was an indispensable force for the righteous way, but he never thought that there was such a huge demon hidden in his Danwang Tower. Ha 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 ha, who am I? I am your beloved Huang Wuxi, Elder Huang. You demon, this is impossible. Where is the tower owner? And those elders? Where are they? Lin Xiao said angrily. They have already become a part of me. They have already sacrificed their lives for my strength. Didn't you see that the strength of this elder has reached a terrifying state now? I am now in the supreme state of human beings. This feeling of having power really makes people intoxicated. Huang Wuxi felt the power in his body, flowing through the meridians, with an intoxicated look on his face. It's impossible. The Tower Master also possesses the strength of the supreme realm of human beings. How could he be swallowed up by you, a demon? It's absolutely impossible. Lin Xiao's face was already maddened at this moment. It's only been a few days, and the Pill Emperor Pagoda has now turned into such a miserable appearance. You evil heretic, you dare to kill here, the world's right way will not let you go. Lin Xiao pointed at Huang Wuxi in front of him and said angrily. Righteous way. Righteous way in this world is a bunch of shit, they are just a group of flies gathered together for profit. Ha ha ha, don't we do so few things on weekdays? You are so naive and make people feel pitiful. Huang Wuxi stared at Lin Xiao in front of him with pity. Okay. I don't have time to talk nonsense with you here. I want to kill the two of you as soon as possible, especially Su Han, you bastard who doesn't know what to say. Next, I will torture you well. Next, I will torture you, Su Han. At this time, Huang Wuxi gritted his teeth and said. His eyes have already revealed evil spirits. Just for a moment, the sky of Danwang Pagoda has been shrouded in evil spirits. The reason is because just now Su Han pushed open the gate of the Pill Emperor Pagoda, invisibly destroying the result arranged by Huang Wuxi. You damn demon. What about the elders of my Pill Emperor Pagoda? What about Elder Sima? Lin Xiao said angrily. At this moment, a figure slowly crawled out from the ruins in embarrassment, only to see that the man's body was full of dilapidation, his face was already covered with blood, and he stood up tremblingly. After seeing the appearance of this person clearly, Su Han was also a little surprised at this time. He didn't expect that the person who came was Sima Hu. Hurry up. This guy's strength is already beyond imagination. Go outside to rescue soldiers, and ask other orthodox sects to suppress him. Otherwise, if he is allowed to continue devouring flesh and blood, then his realm will reach the realm of the Supreme Earth. At that time, in the entire Tianquan domain, except for those hidden old monster assistants, no one will be able to suppress him. Sima Yao's breath was already very weak at this time, but he still insisted on speaking. What a troublesome guy. It's already this time, and he still wants to make trouble for me, but now this time is enough. You can't escape even if you want to. Huang Wuxi shook his head and said with a mocking look on his face. Do you still dare to do it now? You must know that your evil spirit has been leaked now. I am afraid that it will not be long before all the orthodox sects will come to encircle and suppress you. By then, it will be too late for you to think about it. Feeling the evil spirit coming towards his face, Lin Xiao was naturally a little flustered, because he knew that he seemed to be in some danger this time. Now he can only use words to scare Huang Wuxi in front of him. After all, the barrier that Huang Wuxi arranged has been broken, and its evil spirit has been exposed. All the orthodox sects outside have already felt the evil spirit surrounding the Pill Emperor Pagoda, and I'm afraid someone will come over soon. Ha 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 ha, kid, you're still too young. You want to scare me, you don't have that ability yet. Those guys don't talk about anything else, they are very willing to look at the Pill Emperor Pagoda and return it to nothingness. Those greedy old guys want to reap the benefits of fishing, so they must not come so soon. In one sentence, Huang Wuxi pointed out what kind of face these orthodox sects were under the mask. It's impossible. All the orthodox sects in Tianquan domain are working together. If this demon is still wasting time here, then your death will be imminent. Lin Xiao's eyes were already bloodshot. He didn't believe that things would really happen like this. But the result is indeed the case. It can only be said that what he thought was too naive, and this sentence made Huang Wuxi in front of him feel very funny. Okay. I won't talk nonsense with you from now on. If I really talk to you, maybe those old guys won't be able to bear it anymore. If that's the case, you two guys are ready to accept my torture. Huang Wuxi sneered. Elder Su, run. Let me block this demon first. Hurry up and go back to the Yaoyan sect to rescue soldiers. Such a demon must not let him go. If he is released, then there will be a catastrophe in Tian Kunu. Lin Xiao stood in front of Su Han directly at this time. He also knew the seriousness of the matter, and said in a very solemn tone. If you can go back, please tell my father that I was wrong to get to where I am today. I was too naive. I was too stupid when I betrayed Yao Yanzong. I owe him an apology for making him worry about me for so long. I am sorry for him. Lin Xiao had a look of relief on his face. A little joy appeared on that face instantly. He has not been very good in his life these years. After all, he has the most reputation in the end, and he pays more attention to strength. He came here after defecting from Yao Yanzong, and he also received a lot of pointers along the way. So it is his own fault that he has come to this day, but his father had to transfer his words to others, and he can't see him anymore. Mu Shorin also came to Su Han's side at this time, only to see that he was vomiting blood all over his body, and his body had already been severely injured. Elder Su, you should go first. He and I are blocking this place. This is our Danwang Pagoda's own fault. As for the people of our Pill Emperor Pagoda, we should bear it ourselves. It is our compensation for you to let you escape. Jia Shorin said suddenly. Seeing Mu Shorin appear, both of them were taken aback, especially Su Han. He didn't think that Mu Shorin was still alive, but thinking about it, it's not surprising. After all, seeing Mu Shorin before was a golden luck, and there was no bad experience, which means that he will survive this time. Hee hee, the two brats dare to speak out. Since you are in such a hurry to die, then I will help you first. Huang Wuxi sneered. Then he waved his hand, and two claws appeared in the sky and attacked towards the two of them. Seeing the devil's claws coming towards them, the two people's faces were solemn. This kind of terrifying strength, just the aftermath contained in this blow, made them almost unable to bear it. If they were hit or confronted head-on, they would definitely not be able to bear it. Let's go. Elder Su, hurry up and ask Yao Yanzong to bring reinforcements. if you don't leave, then you won't be able to leave. Lin Xiao said hoarsely, he only has one thought now, and that is to fight for his life. Ha 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 ha, ha 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 ha, it's not so easy to leave. I tell you that you won't be able to leave today, obediently prepare to die. Huang Wuxi laughed loudly. At this moment, he was extremely proud, being able to kill such a genius with his own hands, which made the blood in his whole body boil. In terms of alchemy talent, he can say that there is no one in the entire Tianquan domain who can compare with Su Han, but Su Han's weak strength is doomed to make him unable to walk today. At this time, when Mu Shorin and Lin Xiao below met those two claws head-on, they were already overturned to the ground, and the remaining power of that claw directly rushed towards Su Han in front of them. Seeing Su Han standing there, the two felt ashamed in their hearts. They knew that the three of them had completely confessed here today. It's over, it's a pity, I can't see my father, I'm sorry before I can tell him face to face. There was a look of helplessness on Lin Xiao's face. At this moment, he didn't have any power to turn the situation around. It's destiny. I didn't expect that my alchemy has just improved, so I can only die here, Mu Shorin said with a helpless smile. At this moment, a white light suddenly flashed in Mu Shorin's body, and a powerful force directly offset the attack of the pair of claws in front of him. This powerful force came from the ring in his hand. But after the ring counteracted this force, its luster became dimmed. Immediately afterwards, a sentence came from Mu Shorin's mind, let's go now. This sudden change also shocked Huang Wuxi in the sky. He reacted and stared at Mu Shorin in front of him with a sneer. I didn't expect that such a waste like you would have such a means. It really makes me feel a little strange. Don't you have something good about you? Then let's deal with you first. Speaking of which, Huang Wuxi came directly in front of Mu Shorin with lightning speed. A hand grabbed his neck directly. At this moment, Mu Shorin's brain had already stagnated. He felt that he was having difficulty breathing, as if he was about to die. Oh, my life is over. A helpless voice came from his mind. At this time, Mu Shorin seemed to think of Su Han and gave himself a kit, but thinking of Su Han standing there looking at his broken mirror strength didn't seem to have any effect, and his face was also very shameless. But at this moment, he had no choice but to be a dead horse as a living horse doctor. When he took out the kit, a golden light suddenly appeared. That burst of golden light directly penetrated Huang Wuxi's arm, and Huang Wuxi suffered pain at this time, and directly threw Mu Shorin out. What is this? You damn brat. What kind of tricks are you hiding? You can actually hurt me. Huang Wuxi said angrily. At that moment, he vaguely felt a coercion from the Earth's supreme realm. That coercion instantly crushed him, and directly crippled one of his arms. This kit, is it Elder Su? At this moment, Mu Shorin turned his head away instantly, looking at Su Han who was calm and breezy. Impossible, impossible Elder Su, his realm is absolutely not in the supreme realm. In an instant, he had already denied this idea. In his opinion, it was impossible for Su Han to have such terrifying strength. He hadn't discovered it after observing for so long. In his cognition, there is no one who can be so powerful and so young. Damn it, you three damned fellows, I'm going to refine all of you, so that you can experience what it means to live worse than death, Huang Wuxi said angrily. In the next second, he suddenly took out an elixir from his sleeve, and that elixir shone with an evil light all over his body, even braving a trace of evil. After he swallowed it, a happy look suddenly flashed across his face, and even his realm had been promoted. It's really comfortable. It seems that strength is the best thing, and I'm only one step away from reaching the supreme level, Huang Wuxi said. It should be almost enough to swallow the three of you. Even if you can't reach the supreme realm, it's only half a foot away. Huang Wuxi greedily stared at the three people in front of him. At this moment, a very upright voice suddenly came from not far away. I really didn't expect that such a demon exists in this majestic Pill Emperor Pagoda, and this demon is actually a little-known Elder Emperor. It's interesting, it's really interesting, but since I'm here, the situation should change now. That righteous voice suddenly interrupted everyone. When they looked back, they found that it was Lin Yan, the suzerain of Yayan sect, and some elders under him, but this time he only brought those elders with him. Because if you bring those disciples, it may drag them down. Fortunately, he came in time this time. If it wasn't for Su Han, he would have told him secretly. Coming to the Danwang Pagoda at dusk, I'm afraid he has already missed this good show, and he may not be able to catch up with it. Su Xiaoyu, I'm not late, I came here very quickly, Lin Yan said. Sovereign, it's really time for you to come, but this guy seems to be a bit difficult to deal with now. He is only a short distance away from the supreme realm, and it seems a bit difficult for you to deal with, Su Han said. Now he doesn't plan to make a move, after all, someone can do it, so why bother himself? Fortunately, all of this is under his control, but he is not sure if the other party has other means, and he can force him to use other means first. That is the best. Oh, you said this waste. This waste is only improved by taking drugs, and to this old man, it is just a bug that can be killed with 3 punches. Lin Yan didn't pay attention to Huang Wuxi in front of him at all. After Huang Wuxi heard this sentence, the veins on his forehead popped up, his eyes were full of anger, and he stared at Lin Yan in front of him, gnashing his teeth and said, "That's really shameless, so let me try it out and let me see how strong you are, an old guy. It is said that you Yao Yanzong absorb the power of the blazing sun, and you can easily fight beyond the ranks with your strength. I just don't know how much room for resistance you have when you meet the peak of the human supreme realm. Su Xiaoyu, stand back and see how I deal with this scum." Lin Yan showed a confident smile on his face. He might not be able to fight tricks or anything else, but when it comes to fighting, Yao Yanzong has never persuaded anyone. Not to mention anything else, in terms of physical strength alone, no one in Tianyao territory is stronger than Yao Yanzong. At this time, Lin Yan rushed up immediately, only to see a dazzling red light erupting from his whole body. Standing in the sky, it was like a round of scorching sun, and the slight pressure radiating from the whole body directly dispelled the evil spirit on Huang Wuxia's body. This terrifying aura also made Huang Wuxia's face even more ugly at the moment. Hee, the old guy's aura is quite strong, but it's useless to have aura alone. Let's see the real chapter under his hands. Huang Wuxi snorted coldly, and the two began to quickly exchange moves in the sky. Hee, the old swan has been beating you for a long time. Today I finally let the old man get the chance, so if that's the case, I can't be relentless. The big sun breaks the sky. Lin Yan roared. Suddenly, a round of big sun appeared in the sky, and this round of big sun was still accumulating power. After the power continued, Lin Yan in front of him gathered this power in his own hands, and punched out this terrifying temperature, making everyone around him fearful, and even everything around him began to melt. None of the flowers, plants and trees in Danwang Pagoda, and those martial arts arenas were spared. Looking at his own punch, Huang Wuxia's face was serious at this time, and he immediately sacrificed his magic weapon, a pill furnace, to block in front of him. The alchemy furnace began to run rapidly, and a black flame burst out from the alchemy furnace. The black flame in the power of this fist began to be less competitive. After a long time, the power of Lin Yan's circle began to be offset slowly. You old guy is really annoying. You come up with killer moves. You Yao Yanzong are all a bunch of brainless guys. Huang Wuxi snorted coldly. Interesting, really interesting, you actually blocked my punch, which really surprised me. It seems that the pill furnace in your hand is not ordinary. The whole body of this pill furnace has such a terrifying evil spirit, especially the flame produced in this pill furnace, which is even more so evil. It seems that you have something to do with this thing when you go evil. But it doesn't matter anymore. After I kill you, I will smash this pill furnace with my own hands. Lin Yan snorted coldly. He was very dissatisfied that he didn't kill this guy with his punch, but it didn't matter anymore. Next, he would formally attack and slowly crush this guy's body. Hee, come on, let me see how much strength you have, an old man. Huang Wuxi was very confident in himself. At this point, Huang Wuxi in front of him was still very arrogant. Lin Yan couldn't stand it anymore. He rushed forward immediately, and beat Huang Wuxi in front of him. But Huang Wuxi didn't do anything, but blocked the alchemy furnace in front of him, and began to resist Lin Yan's attack. Lin Yan's punches were mixed with the power of the sun. Every punch was strenuously hitting the pill furnace, but none of them had any effect. The pill furnace was so strong that it forcibly blocked his fist. Old guy, you can't beat my defense. Since you can't beat it, then it's my turn to show you the flames from hell. Huang Wuxi was very proud at the moment, only to see him wave his hand, and the pill furnace started to run quickly. The pitch-black flame inside began to emerge from the pill furnace, and directly entangled Lin Yan in front of him. Lin Yan wanted to get rid of it at this time, but found that the pitch-black flame wrapped around his arm like a poisonous snake, slowly burning his body. Ha 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 ha, old guy, you also have the fact that Yao Yanzong claims to be the most powerful in martial arts today. How does it feel to be tortured like this today? Huang Wuxi looked at Lin Yan, who had been trapped by the pitch-black flames in the pill furnace, and was extremely proud at the moment. At this time, the clothes on Lin Yan's upper body had been completely burned, his arms had been burnt black, and even his right arm had many black marks. Ha 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 ha, old guy, you can also follow the old man who wrote and become my nourishment. This is something you should feel honored for. I didn't expect to have an unexpected harvest today. You, an old fellow, fell into my hands today. I will forcibly refine you into elixir. After I swallow it, there will be no one in Tien Kunu who can stop me. Huang Wuxi had a greedy smile on his face at this moment. He didn't expect that he was so powerful at this moment, so strong that even Lin Yan, who was known for his force in front of him, couldn't resist him. Now he felt that he had reached the peak, while Lin Yan was trapped by the flame. He directly transported the pill furnace, intending to inhale Lin Yan in front of him, so that he could be refined into a pill. The power of this flame is very familiar. This is the ghost furnace of the Nether sect. You actually have their pill furnace. This is a magical weapon that has refined many creatures. It is no wonder that you have been eroded by him to the point where you have lost your mind, and you are full of evil spirits. Lin Yan said with an unfriendly expression. Ha 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 ha, I didn't expect you, an old man, to have some knowledgeable alchemy furnace, but I finally got it. The will-o'-the-wisp in it is the once famous evil and resentful will-o'-the-wisp, obediently be burned to death by me. As he spoke, he saw Lin Yan directly sucking Lin Yan into it. He sealed the pill furnace with a secret method, tightly covered it, and then turned on the pill furnace, and the evil and will-o'-the-wisps began to burn crazily in it. Ha 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 ha, ha 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 ha, after refining you old guy, I'm afraid I can directly step into the 5th level of Earth Supreme, and then no one can survive here, and Tiankanu will eventually become my slaughterhouse. Huang Wuxi said with evil spirit at this moment. Not good, stop him quickly, don't let this guy refine my father. Once he swallows my father's elixir, his strength will be unstoppable, everyone here will die, unless those old guys hiding in the dark take action together. Lin Xiao said with a very ugly face. Those old guys are hiding in the dark one by one, and half of their feet have already stepped into the coffin. It will not be that simple to get them to take action, unless the entire Tianquan domain is in catastrophe. Those old guys are very shrewd one by one, who wants to make a move, after all, they know that every shot will consume a lot of energy, which has a great impact on their lifespan. Ha 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 ha, it's too late, obediently be refined by me, Lin Yan, you old man still has today, ha 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 ha. At this time, Huang Wuxi has seen the picture of himself dominating the entire Tianquan domain, and he is very excited at the moment. And the people below were anxious at the moment, because they found that their strength seemed to be unable to even get close to that pill furnace. They wanted to rush up, but found that Huang Wuxi was very powerful, and he could fly them chaffé with just a wave of his hand. At this moment, the only way to survive is to blow himself up. If he is allowed to refine the suzerain, then we will all die by then. One of the elders' eyes were bloodshot at this moment. He did not expect that the situation would be reversed so quickly at this moment. Don't worry, it's not time for you to blow yourself up in exchange for time, so take a good look. At this time, Su Han suddenly opened his mouth to stop the two elders in front of him who were about to blow themselves up and kill a bloody path. But the situation is very critical now. If you don't take action, then Lord Yenju will be refined by this demon. One of the elders was also anxious and lost his mind at this time. Don't worry. Maybe Elder Su really has a solution, it's not the time yet. Mu Shorin, who was next to him, said at this time. He knew that Su Han was definitely not easy. Just with the kit just now, he was able to penetrate Huang Wuxia's arm, and Su Han might still have this card in his hole. He actually thinks there is no problem, then there must be no problem. If there is a problem, then the two of them would have shown a flustered look. Seeing the plain expression on Su Han's face, he thinks the current situation is not too bad, it's just that he can't see through it. Sure enough, Huang Wuxi, who was running the alchemy furnace in the sky, quickly discovered something was wrong. He found that his alchemy furnace was running faster and faster, which would have deviated from his track, and the flame was burning more and more vigorously. It seemed that there was a force that did not belong to him, and was rampaging, trying to break the balance in the alchemy furnace. He wanted to control it at this time, but found that he seemed to be unable to intervene. He could only see that the flame above the alchemy furnace was getting more and more prosperous, and even the alchemy furnace was spinning faster and faster. Impossible. What is going on? This myriad ghost stove, everything can be refined, and the ghost fire contained in it is said to be able to burn all things. How could it be affected? Even if he refuses to admit it, the situation in the sky at this moment has already made him lose his composure, and then a heat wave suddenly burst out from the furnace. This force was even hotter and stronger than his evil will-o'-the-wisp, and the speed of the pill furnace was getting faster and faster. In the end, the pill furnace was torn apart. Faced with this sudden change, everyone was shocked, especially Huang Wuxi in front of him. His face became even more gloomy. He never thought that the treasure he finally got would be so abruptly shattered. Seeing the smoke from the explosion in front of him, he gritted his teeth. He now knew why such a situation occurred. After the smoke cleared, a figure suddenly appeared in front of them. The person who came was Lin Yan, the suzerain of Yaoyan sect. At this moment, his upper body was naked, his powerful muscles could be seen at a glance, and his whole body was red, with a dazzling red light shining from top to bottom. Standing there, his whole body was like a big sun in the sky. But Huang Wuxia's side is still covered with dark clouds. These two people seem to represent two different extremes, and they are opposing at this moment. Your ghost stove does have some skills, but compared to the sun flame power absorbed by my Yao Yanzong, it's still a bit inferior. It just made me move around a little bit, but that's enough. Just now I was worrying about how to deal with you. After all, hiding behind such a bastard, I can't beat you. It's estimated that your bastard shell has been smashed by me, so now, it's time to maim you, so that I can be worthy of the long time I just stayed inside. Lin Yan showed a ferocious sneer on his face. In the next second, he immediately made a move. At the moment of his movement, it seemed as if time was frozen. When Huang Wuxi reacted, the huge fist had already arrived in front of him, and the fist was mixed with the real fire of the day. An extremely hot breath blasted towards his face, and by the time he realized it, it was already too late to dodge, and the fist hit him in the face. He was hit and fell directly on the ground, smashing out a huge pothole. Huang Wuxi climbed up from the pit in a panic. Half of his face had been burned by the flames. He looked terrified, but at this moment he didn't feel any pain. Instead, his face became very vicious. He stared at Lin Yan in front of him, and said, "You damn old man, you actually used such a scheme to directly destroy my 10,000 ghost stove. I will never spare you. It seems that you, an old fellow, have been brain destroyed by this evil technique. Are you still not clear about the situation? If that's the case, then I'll let you take a good look at who has the upper hand in the current situation." Lin Yan sneered. In the next second, he rushed straight up, kicked Huang Wuxi down, and then rode on him, punching his face one after another. Seeing such a violent Lin Yan, Lin Xiao, who was behind him at this time, also felt a burst of fear. "Brother Lin, I heard that you defected from Yaoyan sect. When you defected, didn't your father beat you like this?" Sima Yao said this sentence after thinking for a long time at this time. He never thought that Lin Yan would be so violent. In the past, he had always heard that Yao Yanzong's skills were powerful, and all the people who came out of Yao Yanzong's cultivation were as high as the sky, but they may have some flaws in some aspects, that is, their tricks or their strength is limited by Qingshan Dan. Sure enough, the person who was able to fight against the three elders of the Nether sect with his own strength was really terrifying. Mu Shorin gasped at this time and said, "Brother Lin, it seems that your father still dotes on you, otherwise, according to your previous behavior, I'm afraid he would have killed you long ago. If it weren't for you being his son, I'm afraid your father's fist would have knocked you into the ground." Mu Shorin then stared at Lin Xiao in front of him with a pitiful look and said. Lin Xiao was also stunned at this time. He didn't expect his father to be so brutal in battle. It was the first time he saw his father face an enemy with such a violent attitude. In other words, he hadn't seen his father make a move at all before, and it seemed that the situation in Tian Kunu was too comfortable. "Let you be arrogant, let you threaten me, let you not give Qingshan pill, and want you tortoise bastards to squeeze me for Yao Yanzong again and again." This punch after punch continued, so that Huang Wu in front of him had no room to fight back. And the way he was talking while typing made the people around him stunned. "It seems that Yao Yanzong has suffered a lot from your Pill Emperor Pagoda." Even Su Han couldn't bear to see this level of violence. Sima Yao also had a helpless smile on his face. If it wasn't for the Qingshan pill, he might. At this time, Huang Wuxi, who was lying on the ground, had been beaten so badly that even Su Han couldn't bear to see it at this time. At this time, Lin Yan, who had vented all the anger in his stomach, stood up, held Huang Wuxi, and said, "This guy, take him back first. He still has some useful things. After all, you have to ask him where he got these things. You people in the Pill Emperor Tower should have no objections." "That's natural. Lin Zong wants to take him back. We dare not have any objections. Let's take this demon back and imprison him with our own hands. Don't let him come out again to cause harm to the world." An embarrassing smile appeared on Sima Yao's face. "Just kidding. In this situation, how dare he say no? After all, he is also afraid, if he says no, Lin Yan's fist will fall on him." "You bloody bastards, how dare you treat old man like this? I can't spare you." Huang Wuxi said very angrily at this time, eyes still full of evil spirits. Hearing this sentence, Lin Yan showed a cold smile on his face. He directly lifted Huang Wuxi in front of him, and scratched several big ears on his face. "Let you talk. Let you keep talking. You guy looks like you won't repent when you were about to die, right? It seems that you were beaten relatively lightly just now, and you haven't made your memory long." Lin Yan snorted coldly. "Damn, hate. Even if I die today, I will drag you down to be buried with you," Huang Wuxi said angrily. At this moment, Everyone seemed to sense that something was wrong, because there was an arrogant formation under Huang Wuxia's god. The whole body of that formation reveals a strange blood-red light, which looks very ominous, and bursts of evil energy are leaking from this formation. Not good, it's weird, leave the center of this formation quickly. Su Han immediately realized that something was wrong, and he immediately reminded Lin Yan that something was wrong as well. He directly left Jing Wuxi in front of him. At this time, Huang Wuxi showed a crazy smile on his face and said, "Since you want to stop me, then I will completely destroy everything. I will let you know what real terror is." As he said that, a black evil spirit appeared in his eyes, not only his eyes, but also slowly revealed from his mouth, nose, and ears. In that instant, the black air that filled the sky directly swallowed Huang Wuxi in front of him. Lin Yan next to him had a solemn expression on his face at this moment. He never thought that the matter would develop to such a point. This is terrible. If I guess correctly, this should be a sorcery that belongs exclusively to the Nether sect, Lin Yan said with a serious face. He never thought that Huang Wuxi in front of him would master such a skill. In the original Nether sect, it was an absolutely secret technique. If it weren't for the high position and authority, the person who occupied a place in the Nether would not be qualified to practice such a sorcery. It's weird, even if this Huang Wuxi is lucky enough to pick up this 10,000 ghost stove, it's impossible for him to practice such magic. Who is hiding behind the scenes and driving all this? No matter how stupid Lin Yan was at this time, he could sense that something was wrong. After all, how could such a powerful skill be obtained by Huang Wuxi? Even if he was lucky enough to pick up this 10,000 ghost stove, it was impossible for him to have such a sorcery, and it would only prove that someone secretly stuffed it for him. At this moment, a powerful fluctuation slowly spread from the center of the formation, and the sky-filled black air had already spread over half of the Tianli domain. Lin Yan squinted his eyes slightly to watch the changes on the ground. At this moment, a hand suddenly stretched out from the formation. That hand was completely black and very strong, with very sharp claws. He seemed to be slowly breaking free from the formation. The people around didn't dare to move, and they didn't dare to interrupt, because once they stepped forward, they would be invaded by the monstrous evil spirit, and even if they were not dead, they would be washed into a foolish person by the evil spirit. Interesting, it seems that the person behind the scenes has a big plan. Even the Pill Emperor Pagoda has been tossed into this look by him. A voice suddenly appeared in the sky. One after another, people appeared at the Pill Emperor Pagoda, and the top several sects in Tian Kunu all came at this time. Isn't that old guy from Daluo Jianzong here yet? It looks like he's afraid of death. He's already at this point, and he's still trying to get something out of his back. This old guy really makes people feel uncomfortable. The old man of Yujiazong also said in a bad tone at this time. He, who said otherwise? This old guy seems reluctant to leave. He cherishes his life. But if he doesn't show up in this situation now, what's the use of keeping that 1/3 of an acre of land? It seems that the forces in the Nether sect have not been completely wiped out, and he made a comeback today. Who is controlling the situation behind this scene? Could it be the remnants of the Nether sect? An old woman next to her walked over slowly with a cane and said, "These people look very face to face." At this time, Su Han looked at the strong men who suddenly appeared one after another, with a puzzled look on his face. This is also normal. After all, you have just arrived, and you are not very clear about the division of the situation here. The old woman next to her is the ancestor of the Liuli sect, and the person over there with a beard and many scars on her face who doesn't look like a good person at all is the elder of the Yushun sect. At this time, Lin Yan began to introduce Su Han next to him one by one. It seems that this movement has alarmed those people. If not, they might still be hiding in the dark, Su Han said. That's natural. These old guys can't get up early. It's good for them. They run faster than anyone else. But all of this must be based on the fact that they are not harmful, Lin Yan said. Sect Master Lin, I haven't seen you for many years, but you still look so young, unlike us old fellows who have already half stepped into the coffin, said the elder of Yujiazong. That's natural. Lin is still younger than you, but if you don't come sooner or later, if you come at this time, is it because you are afraid that the demon will clean you up? There was a mocking look on Lin Yan's face. The evil spirit above the sky of Danwang Pagoda was so terrifying, he couldn't believe that these people didn't see it. We old fellows have already half stepped into the coffin. It's not like you can still toss about like this. If you make a move again, I'm afraid you will have to sleep in the coffin now, the old woman from the glazed sect said at this time. Okay, let's not talk so much, let's discuss how to deal with the guy in front of him. The guy in front of him is about to get out of trouble. This Huang Wuxi really has tricks, and the people behind this are even more powerful. I am afraid that 80% of the disciples and elders of the Pill Emperor Pagoda have been swallowed by such a huge evil spirit. No wonder his strength has risen to such a level. The supreme elder of Yujiazong showed a sneer on his face. He never thought that such a small person would stir up the situation. When this formation appeared just now, even he was shocked. He had actually been secretly watching from behind, and he also saw with his own eyes the scene of Lin Yan beating Huang Wuxi violently. The old guy from the Great Luo Sword Sect hasn't come yet. This old guy is really calm enough. If we can't stop him today, then I'm afraid the Great Luo Sword Sect, no matter how capable he is, won't be able to stop this demon. The Nether Sect's people really don't give up. Thousands of years ago, we paid a huge price here to encircle and suppress him. Thousands of years ago, all our sects worked together to wipe it out. Compared with the one summoned by the Nether Sect, this demon doesn't seem to be much different. Lin Yan sneered. But at this time, heavy snow suddenly fell in the sky, and the elders who came with Lin Yan seemed to smell something unusual at this time, so that the power of the sun's flames in their bodies began to spin out uncontrollably. They turned their heads, only to find that the road behind them was covered with layers of frost. Okay, the guy the first don't want to see is here. It's really troublesome, but considering the current situation, it's okay if he doesn't come. Lin Yan also covered his forehead after seeing this scene, making him feel that the atmosphere seemed a little awkward. Hee, old ghost Lin, you are really useless. To deal with such a guy, you actually forced him to get out this formation and summon such a demon. If you'd killed him sooner, this wouldn't have happened. The old man behind him was dressed in plain clothes, his body was a little gray, but he looked like he was still in his prime. But he exuded a cold aura all over his body, as if warning everyone not to get close to him. Who is this? Why haven't I seen him before? Su Han also looked confused at this time. Why did so many unknown experts come out all of a sudden? And judging by Lin Yan's reaction, the two seemed to have some conflicts before, otherwise, the other party would not directly open their mouths to hurt Lin Yan as soon as they appeared. Wan Lao Gui, don't make sarcastic remarks there. You may not be able to beat Huang Wuxi like that. Maybe, you may not be able to beat him. Lin Yan sneered. Hee, I don't know anything else, but I'm sure it won't lead to the situation like today. Originally, it wouldn't be good for everyone to sit back and watch the fun, but this forced us all out. Xiao Yu Su, this guy has a long history with our suzerain. They may be enemies, but not all of them are, but they may be friends, but they don't look like them either. They are people from the Glacier Valley located in the extreme north of Tianquan Domain. This guy is the leader of Glacier Valley, but I am a little surprised that he can come today. After all, this place in the extreme north is still a bit remote from here. Their disciples are all cultivating in the icy weather in this extreme north, so each of them looks like a big ice cube. Fifth Elder Qin Yiwang explained directly to Su Han at this time. So that's the case, but I'm still a little curious. What's going on with this demon? What happened back then? What kind of origin does the ghost you speak of have? Su Han asked. The magic weapon of the Nether Sect also made him a little surprised, and what surprised him even more was that their sorcery could directly absorb human essence, blood and flesh, and use it as raw materials for alchemy to refine elixirs and improve their experience. The Nether Sect is daunting to say the least. After all, it rose rapidly at an extremely fast speed back then, but the characters in their sect are all cruel and merciless. In order to cultivate, it can be said that I don't know how much flesh and blood of living people are used. They don't even spare ordinary people without cultivation. Their actions undoubtedly angered all the sects in the Tianquan Domain, so thousands of years ago, all the sects united together to completely destroy the Nether Sect. The fifth elder, Qin Yiwang, said. Speaking of this, there is still a little fear in his eyes. The deterrent power brought by the Nether Sect back then was terrifying, and it can be said that it is still vivid in people's minds. It's interesting, but from this point of view, the people behind this may be the survivors of the Nether Sect, Su Han said. However, where is he? Su Huang rubbed his chin at this moment. Hee, let's get ready now, otherwise when this demon comes out, it will be a fierce battle. We are already half into the coffin, and we don't have a little room to play like we did back then. The ancestor of the Glazed Tile Sect said in a slow tone at this time. If it wasn't because of the sudden disturbing situation of this demon statue, then I'm afraid they were just watching the excitement behind. This is it, Su Xiaoyu. You are really young and promising, you are so powerful at such a young age. You can refine the 9th grade elixir at such a young age. This level may not be as good as you in the entire Imperial Pagoda combined. At this time, the ancestor of the Liuli sect suddenly directed his words to Su Han, who was thinking about the problem. Senior, it's absurd. All these are just some tricks of the younger generation. Compared with you, they are still insignificant. The cultivation of each senior is as high as the sky, Su Han said. Speaking of which, Su Han opened his heavenly eyes and glanced at the old lady of the glazed sect in front of him. The panel that emerged made Su Han feel a little surprised at this time, but he quickly suppressed his mood. It seems that people should not be judged by their appearance. Under such an old face, there is a mystery hidden.